All right, I'll call the meeting to order, starting with the determination of the quorum. Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum. All members are present.
Thank you. We'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you all for being here this evening. We have a full agenda of good things to look at, so thank you for being here with us. We'll start with an approval of the agenda. There is one item to remove. Which item number was that? That was item 8B5, professional services for new district storage facility. We're going to remove that. There's some new options that came up that they want to explore before they bring it to us, so it's not quite ready for the board to act on it yet at this point. So with that exception, with that removal, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion is second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now, I guess there is one addition to the agenda, so just forgive me for 1 second. In the recognitions and awards, there's nothing listed, but we do have a little recognition we need to do. So Tom, if you would please come down. Recently, our superintendent was announced as the superintendent of excellence. What was the phrase?
Administrative excellence.
Administrative excellence by his peers and peer superintendents in the region, and we're very proud of him for that. It's also his birthday on Saturday, and so we wanted to give this as a cake and back for anybody who would like to partake in that, but we also wanted to give you this token of our appreciation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and that brings us then to community comment. This is a time for any members of the community to step forward and address the board with any comments or concerns that they have. There's a 3-minute limit per speaker and a 15-minute limit per topic. So if you have any items you'd like to bring to the board, please do so at this time. All right, and that concludes our awkward silence part of the meeting. And we'll move on to the consent agenda. The items in the consent agenda are approved by one motion. There is no discussion of items on the consent agenda, but any board member can request to have an item separated for discussion simply by requesting it. Are there any requests to remove something from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
As I said, consent agenda items are not discussable. So, Mr. Clerk, would you please do a roll call?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Tom?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
Yvette?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Jerry?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
Chad?
Aye.
Mr. Chair, it passes 7-0.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. Up next, item 6, curriculum. Curriculum committee, is there an update from Colleen?
All right, good evening. Our curriculum committee met on Monday, March 9th. We went over the budget proposal process one more time and then heard a proposal from from Roosevelt Elementary. From there, we discussed, did a brief update on STEAM. The STEAM registration forms have gone out and gone home to many of our families. And we're hoping that they continue to remember to return those to us as soon as possible. That just gets their child registered for summertime. And then we had Heidi talk about the integration grant and discussed what that grant meant to us and, you know, how we received the grant and what we intend to use that grant for. It is a 2-year grant. And from there, we really kind of just went over all the other proposals and had discussions on that. Anything you want to add, Tom, Jason, Chad, anything? Because they were all at the meeting.
What's your account on Be the Steam? What's your limit? What's last year, 350 last year?
Last year was 350. We don't really have a limit. I think that we're looking at, I'm gonna look at Margaret, about 450? Is that what you're thinking? So we really, you know, we intend to try to service as many kids as possible during the summertime. And so we sent out, during parent-teacher conferences, we handed out many of those team registrations of those that we were encouraging to sign up, and then we also have sent them home. And so we're hopeful that people remember to return them, because our deadline date was the 31st. And so we're hopeful that people remember to return them. Even after the registration process expires, we will continue to pursue more students, obviously, because we do like the idea of them being with us in the summertime. We have a lot of great activities. It's educational, but yet it's fun for our students. Our next meeting will be the April 20th. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that brings us to item 6B, the technology update.
Good evening. I wanted to share that a team of us recently visited the Minnetonka Institute on March 4th and 5th. It was a 2-day workshop, and the first day involved school tours where we had to see hands-on how the students and staff were using technology in the classroom in their daily activities. And then the second day was breakout sessions, so we attended sessions such as successful one-to-one tips, descriptions on different apps, note-taking and presentation tools, innovation strategies, assessment, device management, learning management system. So it's a lot of good take-back information, a lot of good information for the team to see. So it's a really good conference. Also, we've had great response to our technology boot camp. We have signed up 12 teams for our summer boot camp, and each team will work with the tech integrationists to develop technology strategies to integrate technology into the curriculum. And we've got several grade levels that signed up, or department teams. We have representation from high school, middle school, elementaries, and Cannon River. So we had really good response to that. So we're looking forward to that. That starts June 8th. And then our next tech committee meeting is April 7th, and we are finalizing our 3-year tech plan for approval at the next board meeting, and it's our annual software and hardware review will be occurring at the next tech meeting also. Any questions?
Maria, I thought it was either at the finance committee meeting or the curriculum meeting. Your technology team was having a meeting the following Wednesday or a couple days later. I thought to kind of go through your plan a bit more and whatnot, you know, and talk about maybe insurance and all this type of stuff. And any feedback from that meeting? If you did have it, if I'm thinking correctly?
Yeah, the communication committee met. It's a committee from the district tech committee, and we did develop an iPad plan, and we talked about insurance, and we've came up with a full proposal and documentation that needs to be reviewed by cabinet and leadership, but we did complete that. So yes.
In your technology boot camp, will you have administration and leadership from each building? Are they also participating in your boot camp or no?
They are welcome to participate, but they haven't signed up right now. Most of the team members are teaching staff that signed up.
You do have space for them though?
Yes, there's still space on the teams.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Maria. Up next, policy. Policy committee report. Item 7A. Who's on policy?
I'm trying to think of who was there.
Andrea?
Oh.
I am.
So was this you, Kathy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about the wellness policy.
The wellness policy.
Reviewing that piece. Yep.
Student discipline is continuing.
Oh, student discipline, yep, is continuing. So we've got one phase, now we've got 2 more phases to complete. And then we're
Bringing that forward for,
the rescinding of the,
the guidelines.
Yep.
Yeah.
rescinding the guidelines, and then we're gonna bring the acceptance of gifts to.
Yeah, for first
Yep.
reading.
It's a pretty quick meeting.
It was a really quick meeting.
Sounds like it. Okay. Well, then that brings us to a policy for first reading, policy 706. For those watching who are not familiar with how the board treats policies, policies are first brought to the board for a first reading, so that the board can look at them and review them, but takes no action at that time. And then they need to come back to the board for a second time, for a second reading, at which time the board can choose to adopt them at that time. So for us this evening, we have to consider the introduction of, just a second, I need to find myself in my, so it's not on here, that's what it is. So this evening, we have, are looking at policy 706, the acceptance of gifts. Does anyone want to say anything about that policy, or what's being looked at with it?
It's pretty much a boiler policy with what the MSBA has defined.
Donations with a resolution.
Yeah, oh, that's right. The new, thank you. Forget about that. The donations, when we get to the donation amounts later in the agenda, we need to do that through a resolution and not through just the majority vote. So, okay. So,
And why is that?
Well, I attended a MSBA conference and was the attorney from MSBA
Kathy,
provided that information, that all donations to school districts must be approved by resolution.
Can you explain that? What's,
Well,
Probably because
normally
we're
it's just an
accepting
action
dollars.
item, but by resolution, it's just a specific language in the resolution and
but so we're still post-dating the fact that we've already taken the gift?
well, the board is approving the gift.
Yeah.
That the gift has been received.
Yeah.
And it has to be done by resolution instead of just regular action.
Okay.
That's interesting. It's not clear to me why a resolution would be.
Probably because you're accepting a
Yeah,
financial
record.
contribution.
This is a
of-
financial aspect to it?
Must be.
To object.
I could find out from
I was just
MSBA
thinking-
if you'd
I
like.
remember, I'm really only curious, it's very easy to do a resolution, it's
Yeah.
not hard.
It's just a roll call.
It's,
Yeah.
You want to make a
Um,
statement by your name or something?
yeah, so it doesn't make a big difference, it's just,
We
I'm
can have
just
our
curious.
finance
as to-
director look into that. That might be a good job for Andy to look at.
That's what she wants to do in her spare
Yeah,
time.
right. She's probably looking it up right now.
But that certainly is fine. So is this replacing a current policy?
No.
This is a new policy for us? Okay. All right. So we have not had a policy in place about the board approving gifts. We've been trying to do that by practice, but we have not had a board policy to do so.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay. Any other questions on this? As I said, the board will not be taking action on this evening. This is just for first reading. If you have any questions or concerns about this item, you can direct those to the policy committee for them to think about before our next meeting. Next meeting, it'll come back to us for a second reading, and we will move to adopt it at that time. Any further questions?
Just the first line of number 4, the school board may accept a gift, grant, or devise of real or personal property. Should that be device? Or did we just took this as MSBA
Came
board?
right from MSBA. I
So,
didn't type
We'll
it.
look
whatever,
at it.
I'll check on it.
Yep. We'll check on it.
Devise.
Okay.
No, I feel like I need to look up the word devise. At some point in the meeting, if you see me on my phone, that's what I'm looking to see, if there's a meaning of devise that would fit there, I don't know. Any other questions on this item before we move along into the agenda? All right, and that brings us to consider the rescission of guidelines from 2010 for policy 533, wellness, the wellness policy. So this is not the policy itself, but the guidelines attached to that policy. So would somebody like to say a little bit about why we're rescinding these? Are there new guidelines coming up?
Well, these are just outdated. For example, it says, objective is to increase high school students' physical activity to 30 minutes each day. And if we continue to do that, we pretty soon will be physical education the whole entire day. So I know that the intent of this is to promote physical education, which we always do, but we don't want something so rigid that we're violating policy. So we just like to rescind it. We think that the wellness policy that we're going to be working on right now, and actually even the current wellness policy we have in place, is sufficient for what we're doing. This almost gets into curriculum.
All right. Any questions on this item? So right now, we're in the process of looking at the wellness policy to revise that. That's the process going on?
Yes. Yep.
Wellness committee is looking at this as well, I'm assuming, policy committee.
Yep. We just looked at it last meeting, so.
Okay. Excellent.
This wasn't written to provide a documentation or a goal, an outcome for a grant or anything, no?
No. No.
Okay.
Todd, with regards to this, is there any thoughts about having, I believe it's just Lincoln and Jefferson those two of the three elementary schools switch back to Phi-Ed 4 days a week instead of twice a week at an hour?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Each
We have talked about it, and I always talk about it. I see one of my principals back there. But we'll try, it's a matter of getting schedules and prep time put in there, but we're gonna try to work on it again for next year.
Well, I would just argue, and I know a lot of people say that daily physical activity is so important in
Mhm.
those young kids. And if that's really the case, that should be first and foremost.
I would even go as far to say that physical activities improve test scores. So, I mean, that's the balance that we have to look at. There's certainly the philosophy that you study, but at some point, physical activity does improve that whole piece. So we'll take another shot at it next year. It's on my radar.
I'll make a motion to rescind the wellness policy as presented.
We have a motion to rescind the guidelines.
The guidelines, I'm sorry, guidelines,
Guidelines,
2010 guidelines,
2010
policy
guidelines.
533.
Thank you. Is there a second for that motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I'd like to just say that I think there's a lot of educational research that indicates that student achievement across the board, not just that measured by standardized tests, improves, and behavior also improves. As a junior high teacher of 25 years, I know that seventh graders need to burn off some energy at some point during the day. When they don't get that opportunity, attention is hard to maintain, focus is hard to maintain, all sorts of issues appear. So I think that daily activity is well documented and it applies to all of our students.
Is there a timeline for when we might be seeing a new wellness policy? So can we do that by the end of this academic year, or?
Yeah, we should really have it ready for next fall. So, and it takes 2 months to get it going. So we were
Mhm.
working backwards, I think, with that one and the discipline policy. So we probably should have the final reading sometime in June.
Okay.
That's kind of the idea.
So the idea is we'll be looking at this board, we'll be looking at a new wellness policy for next fall.
Yep.
And I can speak to, Anne Marie's been trying to organize a meeting of the wellness committee
Mhm.
to work on policies.
Okay, excellent, yeah. I ask because I'm just a little hesitant about just rescinding this this guideline at this moment without seeing sort of what is there. And so I just want to make sure that we have sort of a definite timeline in place, that we are looking for a policy that the board can look at and feel like we're comfortable with as we move into next year. So that helps me feel better, thank you. Any other questions on this item? Okay, we have a motion and a second to rescind the guidelines, the 2010 guidelines for policy 533, the wellness policy. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you all. This brings us to item number 8, finance. There is a finance committee report. There's a meeting on March 9th. Would anybody from the finance committee like to, Madam Treasurer, would you like to say something about the
Sure.
finance committee
I
meeting?
can start, but Chad, step in if you have something else to add. Most of the items obviously are coming in front of you tonight, so that we can discuss them as they come up. There was a lot of discussion about the iPads and some of the things that Chad mentioned, just that it's a big project, and we are proud that our technology team is devoting a lot of time and energy to working on this. So it's exciting, but it's a big move for us, obviously, to purchase these devices. A lot of discussion, just as we've been having, about additions to our curriculum, staff, and how that fits into our budget and into the fund. So I think as we go forward, the finance committee wants to continue to be involved in those discussions and things that we talked about at the work session. So it's a good meeting. That's all I got.
Anything to add? Okay. And so then we move into the items that have been reviewed by the Finance Committee and have been recommended for board approval. That starts with the Jaguar Communications contract. Mr. Superintendent, would you like to say?
Sure, I'll start and then
Hand it over to Maria? and
I'll
Maria can
probably
just
hand it
come
over
up.
to Maria. This is our agreement with our internet speed. And, I'm just gonna transfer it to you right away, because you'll be able to explain it a little better than I can.
Jaguar Communications would be our service provider for internet and our wide area network connection between our buildings. And this is a 5-year contract that would be, that's been submitted for telecommunications aid through E-rate. So we'll get some funding back through E-rate with this agreement.
They currently are our provider,
Currently, we have a different provider. We have Charter right now.
so did this go out for quotes at all?
Excuse me?
Did it go out for quotes?
We went through a bid process through E-rate, and this was the lowest cost bid through E-rate.
Good.
Is Jaguar big enough to handle it, or is, Charter's large?
Yeah, Jaguar's a solid company. They service other area schools right now. So they're a good company. They're based out of Owatonna.
I guess similar question, but the other finance members seem to think it had a
Yeah.
very good reputation as a
Okay.
Yeah, I
business
think
that
they're
can handle
a
it.
pretty quick growing company.
A gigabit per second, how does that compare with other districts our size?
The cost, or
Sort of that amount of service, the dedicated 1 gigabit per second.
it's in
For a
line.
school district our size, is that sort of a typical?
The services we requested are typical for a district our size. We are kind of a little bit behind with our services. This would give us 1 gig of internet and up to 10 gigs between our buildings for fiber. So we're reaching the full capacity right now. We really do need to look at our bandwidth issues, and this would provide our adequate bandwidth for our network.
I guess the reason why I'm asking, I'm just thinking if you start streaming video, it doesn't take too many computers to be streaming video to add up to a gigabit per second pretty quickly. Do I understand that right? Or just
We
the
will be able to
speed of-
manage it. We do limit it a little bit through our network. We do have to monitor it,
Mhm.
but this would meet our needs.
What's our current speed right now?
400 meg.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the Jaguar Communications contract.
We have a motion to approve the Jaguar Communications contract. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion on this item? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Maria.
See you in a few minutes.
Don't go too far. I don't know who ordered this. I'm sure they had to stand up and sit down as many times as possible. Okay, up next is the 2015-2016 Riverbend contract. Who's talking about?
Well, I can, then maybe Andy, I don't know if you can talk a little bit about that too, but it's our basic agreement with Riverbend. We've included now the preschool, which will be part of the community ed piece, so it's pre-K through 12 that we use the Riverbend resource for. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add is that it's just adjusted 1 or 2% for inflation, so that's what the increase is. And adding the pre-K, that's the only reason for the increase.
I think the board will remember, we had quite a bit of discussion about this item when we were making cuts, and we asked Riverbend to come in at $25,000, which they did. And so I'm really impressed that they are giving us another contract. It's just that increase and able to provide
probably more of a question for Colleen. How are they gonna articulate the science curriculum with Riverbend? And what are they, I know on the memo, they said they're gonna align the state standards, so.
Right, so last year, we started talking about the idea that the standards weren't really matching up with with each grade level. And so there's two things that are going on. Currently, we have been meeting as an elementary science committee throughout this school year to realign our standards because it is their adoption year, and they'll be purchasing a curriculum that better aligns to the state standards. At the same time, Riverbend came and met with us, and we started talking about the idea that if this is the standard in fourth grade, obviously we want the activities to match up. And so they've made some shifts to help us so that we can partner with that. So just, they've done a really good job with us.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Colleen. I'll move acceptance of the contract with Riverbend Nature Center.
We have a motion to approve the Riverbend Nature Center contract. Is there a second?
Second?
A motion and a second to approve the 2015-2016 Riverbend Nature Center contract. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And this brings us to the Apple Master Lease Purchase Agreement. Maria, welcome back. Tell us a little bit about this.
This is a 3-year lease agreement to purchase Apple iPads for our district to roll out our one-to-one initiative. It's just a straightforward agreement.
So Maria, just remind me of some things. So the plan would be to lease these for 3 years, after which we would own them, so this is lease to buy.
Correct.
Do we have a sense yet on what school districts are typically looking at as sort of a replacement cycle? How long are they keeping these before they look to get them replaced?
I've seen anywhere between 3 and 4 years.
3 and 4 years.
Yeah.
So that lease cycle is there, we feel like they're probably gonna be pretty close to the end of their life at the end of the lease.
Yeah, you start looking at battery life and then if they can still
Wow.
accept the updates and so forth, so yeah.
So we could probably expect that when this ends, we'll be looking for another one to do the next lease for the next few years.
Right.
I understand that. Okay, thank you.
Is there a buyback or, you know, from that lease, or, you know, we give it back to them?
There are companies that will purchase the iPad at market value at the time of the 3-year lease, so they will purchase that.
Not the same company?
Not Apple, a different company, a third-party company.
What are the purchase per unit? What is it per unit?
Right now,
Yeah,
about $470 per unit.
and then after 3 years,
Well, the iPad 2s right now run us still about $150, and those are about 4 years old now.
okay.
It's hard to say.
And then I heard before that you're talking insurance when you give these to the kids?
We're evaluating those options right now. Most districts are self-insured where they charge a set amount to students, families, to cover the cost of repair or replacement or theft, anything that happens to the iPad.
And what grades are getting these?
Right now, we're gonna do a 1-to-1 for grades 6 through 12, and then we're gonna apply classroom sets of 7 in grades 3 to 5.
So people the students cannot bring their own?
They can still bring their own, but we would supply one for every student in grades 6 through 12. By us providing the iPad, we're able to manage the devices, we're able to install apps, we're able to
That's right.
configure them on our network.
Okay. And do we have policies for a lot of this stuff, or are we gonna develop policies?
Yeah, for instance, the insurance piece, we'll go through the finance committee again, and we'll take a look at that whole piece, and some of the other details that Maria's talking about that the committee's coming up with, but,
Okay.
yep.
And then things like bullying, that's all covered under our policies?
Yeah, we do have a very good internet policy, and we also have of course, our anti-bullying policy too. That includes cyberbullying.
Any other questions for Maria?
Would you want to just mention how this fits into your budget and going back to the levy?
In regards to the levy, we had an additional $500,000 for technology, and that $500,000 would cover the cost of the annual cost of the iPads.
Thank you.
Just to put, this is a pretty much of a boilerplate lease that other districts have entered into with Apple.
Yes, Other districts have done the same thing with Apple. It's pretty common.
So there'd be no need for us to have a legal review of it.
No, no, in fact, ours is actually a little better than a couple of the districts too, with some of the pieces that were added at the end. So I think we
Okay.
actually have a pretty good deal.
Okay.
Then you have to get these early so you can program them?
We'd like to get them early so that we can have them ready for distribution by August, so the kids have them the first day of school. It'll take a while for them to ship in the cases and to configure them and
You
load
almost
the
got
apps.
2,480.
Yep, it's quite a
Can your
bit.
staff do it?
Sure we can.
Okay, it's just a question, because you got a lot, I mean, it's monotonous, it's the same thing, right?
It would be
Pretty
a lot of
much.
work, but getting them earlier would help us, so we won't have to do it all this summer. We can do some of it in, April, May, and June, kind of
Okay.
break it out in stages.
Okay.
Maria, I go back to the MSBA conference that several of us attended and whatnot, and the one biggest downfall is improper or not enough training of staff. And I go back to your boot camp, and right now, we don't have individual school leadership signed up yet. I think that's a very important thing, that school leadership is a part of the boot camp. What's that?
Well, partly because they didn't sign up for it, the technology boot camp wasn't designed for administrators. It was designed for our teaching staff to integrate curriculum. So we, to be honest with you, have not asked our administrators to be part of that, because we have our integrationists, myself and Maria, working with them. What we're doing with the boot camp is we ask teams of staff to sign up, so a math team, and then what we're going to do with that is, so we have a math team that's coming. Corey and Chris are going to meet with them to talk about, okay, if you're doing calculus, here's some really great apps that you can embed. And then I'm also going to be there to talk about the curriculum connection. We did not, we never did involve administrators. It was really a curriculum piece.
No, and I get that, but I think when you're rolling out something of this nature, I think it's extremely important that leadership is involved with something like this. They can take a back seat, they can sit and observe, but they need to know what's going on, my opinion. The second thing is, your boot camps are optional. I think for some teachers that are not going to do this, it's a big disservice to those students in those classes where those teachers are not. To me, it has to be mandatory, because if you have 4 fifth grade teachers at Lincoln and 3 of the 4 do it, those 20 kids in that 4th class where the teacher doesn't do it, it's a disservice to them. It's not fair to them, and it's not fair to all the other kids where those teachers did not partake. I just think there needs to be a way.
So we agree with you in that aspect. So every early out, we have had at least an hour of tech training on all our early outs, and our beginning workshops and our curriculum days. We have mandatory training for our staff, and we will do so also next year. The tech boot camp in the summertime was, for those that wanted to advance and to do bigger, to move faster than the rest of them. But you're right, we do have mandatory times for our staff.
But there's, the speed that technology is changing, the people that are participating in early outs, and if that's all they participate, they're behind the 8 ball come August and September. There's new apps, there's new stuff that Mr. Dibble and Mr. Little have, are gonna put in place, or whatever. I mean, this stuff is changing so quickly. And the other thing is, the 500,000 that was allocated from the levy, that's pretty much gonna be eaten up every year by iPads, just iPads. What does the ongoing budget look like for the technology integrationists and any other technology type pieces that go with the one-to-one devices?
The training pieces.
Whether it's training, whether it could be, new programs that we might have a part of, where does that money come from, or do you have extra money already set aside in the budget for that?
We have money in the budget right now to support ongoing costs. We also have an additional $50,000 for professional development support for our
As
teachers
part of
for
the levy, too.
technology.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so we do have a separate fund to continue that professional development. And we're also looking at other options in the fall, before and after school training, more one-on-one training maybe looking at an individualized technology plan for every staff member. So we are looking at different options. Chris and Corey have done numerous videos and tutorials online for staff. So it's always a time factor, but we're always trying to work around the staffing schedule too.
And, you know, honestly, there are times that we can require and say our staff needs to be here, and we have grabbed those times, and we'll continue to grab those times to enhance our technology. But summer is not one of them, unfortunately for us.
Yeah, I just want to support what Mr. Wolf was talking about as far as leadership goes. And I brought this before, that to not have building leaders involved in that training, if they're instructional leaders, they should be there knowing what is happening technologically, curriculum-wise, what have you. So I think it's very important that they participate, not on a volunteer basis, but if they have staff learning these skills, they should also be learning those skills.
I'd also like to join in that commentary. The addition of iPads and technology to the classroom instructional situation on a scale that we are talking about, which I think has some tremendous advantages, but also has some potential downfalls. Students are very creative, and we're hoping that we can stay one step ahead of them, but that doesn't always happen. I guess the point I'm trying to get to is that if teachers, students are going to be utilizing this in their instruction, that's obviously the whole point. That may involve some new, for the lack of another term that comes to mind, a disciplinary situation. And to a degree, at one point or another, the administrator is going to need to be involved in that. We also have a teacher evaluation system in place by law, and I know there's been a lot of work done with that. But if a administrator is not current with the strategies, the techniques, the potential difficulties in conducting instruction utilizing this technology, how are they going to incorporate that in an effective evaluation of a teacher? So I guess, long story short, is that I too believe that the administration needs to have a level of staff development in order to facilitate and evaluate this aspect of our program.
Yeah, we have at least one principal that's way ahead of us with that whole thing. She's been through the whole one-to-one initiative and has had a lot of that training already ahead of me. I can't agree with you guys more, is that technology is an intricate piece of it, and we'll take a look at it too. Just thinking out loud, or just thinking of maybe an admin boot camp for folks too would be pretty cool. It's great.
We could also add it to our leadership meetings, you know, as we do a little piece of training
Yep.
too.
Yep, it's good to know.
Thank you for that consideration.
Any other questions? I guess I just want to, I echo what I've been hearing from the board, particularly about the need to have administrators building leadership involved in that. But I also would hate for the boot camps to now be seen as sort of a negative because they were optional. I think, you know, the choice was to have optional boot camps or not to have boot camps. It wasn't to have mandatory versus optional boot camps. And our staff made the decision to go ahead and do the optional ones, and that's a bonus over what we would have had anyway. And so I agree completely that every district person should be getting trained, and we need to use the times that we're able to do that. But I don't want to see the boot camps as a negative because somebody stepped forward and did this optional thing, and somehow that became a negative because it wasn't quite mandatory, which we might like, but is not an option for us. I just want to say thank you, because I know that was a lot of work to all the people who volunteered to do that, so I want to make sure I express that. Any other thoughts?
Well, while I agree with that, I do think it's important when we're looking at how hard some people worked to get this levy to pass after a second round. I mean, this is the taxpayers' money, and we don't want to see an iPad initiative not work in our district. And so I think that's where the questions are coming from. I don't think it's criticism by any means. but just from our history with the public, I think we need to be taking every precaution necessary, just to know that this is, I mean, that we're doing everything in our power as a district to make sure that this does work. And that 3 years from now, when our lease is up, we're not looking at, did we make the right decision? Did we jump into it too quick? So I hope that when I question things, that it's not being taken in a negative way. I'm just looking out for the $500,000 every year that the taxpayers gave us.
Right, any other questions or comments?
I will make a motion to approve the Apple Master Lease Purchase Agreement as presented tonight.
All right, we have a motion to approve the Apple Master Lease Purchase Program. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
This does include cases or not? Cases?
does include
It does,
cases,
okay,
yes.
thank you.
Just one final comment. I know Marie has been working diligently on this process, and to get to this point has been pretty gratifying. So I just want to say thanks. This is pretty cool.
If there's no further discussion, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Thank you, Maria. And that brings us to concurrent enrollment agreement with South Central College.
If you want to touch on it, it's just an agreement with South Central College to offer college level courses
Automotive
Through-
was added. and
Yep.
is the difference.
through South Central College.
It allows our students to take classes at South Central while
Yep.
maintaining student status. at
Yep,
South
at a fee. It's not a per diem. It's at just a cost that they charge us. So
But
it's a
these
good
are
thing.
concurrent,
These are
slightly
concurrent.
different than,
AP or college within the school, but you can still get college credit. It's a great deal for our kids.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve the concurrent enrollment agreement with South Central College for spring semester 2015. Any further discussion?
I just had a question. How many courses total? Do we do that with South Central? Like 15, 20?
Oh, gosh. Mr. Turtle's not here. I told him he didn't have to come here. He's sick. I'm not sure. I know that if you start our, between AP, the advanced placement, the concurrent, and the college within a school, a student graduating from Faribault can almost get 30 college credits. So I'm not sure what those classes are,
Okay.
but it's a lot of good college credits they can get.
I was just looking at this agreement to see if it says.
These are the concurrent, it's on page 4. 35 and
Is it section 3A on page 4? Is it just those courses though? Composition, auto service, auto 2?
That's just for the spring.
That's
Just
just
spring.
spring.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so it's those courses at this moment, we don't.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on this item? If my memory serves me, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And that brings us to item number, we're not looking at item number 5. So we are looking at 8B 6, the security surveillance camera system at the Crick building.
Had another one of my cabinet members go down too. He's sick, so he's not here. Kevin couldn't make it. But these are security cameras at the correct building. Our staff have been asking for them. It's more of a reactive, but we've also been able to use it as a preventative piece to help us out. So we are recommending we install some of these surveillance cameras. They're digital cameras. They're high-quality cameras that we can view and zoom in. It's going to be a big help for that building down there.
Could you go more detail?
About
Like
what?
where, purpose?
Yep, in the hallway for that. If there happens to be, it can be sometimes a volatile environment down at CREC with some of the staff. So anything we can do to help that staff out where it's not a volatile environment, and we think that we can use that to both, if there is a situation down at that building where we have to investigate, we can use that as data to use to investigate. Right now, we have nothing. It's just, there's a hallway and something happens in there, then we can't. Or sometimes you can use that as preventative, and we say, hey, look, there's cameras here. You can't be misbehaving. So there's advantages both ways to having those cameras down there.
Be in the classrooms?
No, won't be in the classrooms. They'll be in the hall rooms, near the entryways. I did check. I think there actually is. I'm not. Is there one in the parking lot? You know, Andy? I'd have to go back and check. I'm not sure if there's or not. But for sure in the hallways and all the visible places that we can go. But no, not in the classrooms.
Any other questions?
And it comes out of Kevin's budget. So.
But it's not real money.
Right.
That's no go.
That's right. Just kidding.
All right. I don't believe we have a motion, a second to approve. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move.
We have a motion to approve the security surveillance camera system at the correct building. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the security surveillance camera system at the correct building. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, and this brings us to item 8C, the budget, the enrollment report. Looking at the enrollment report, numbers are holding remarkably steady. Is it my memory, or does it seem like these numbers are actually holding more steady than they typically do at this time of year? Is that true, Andy?
I would say yes, they are holding a little bit more steady. We are starting to see just a very slight decline.
Yeah.
We decreased 2 students overall. I think we'll continue to see that a little bit just as kids fall off in the spring, but it is a little more steady than we're used to.
Okay. And for those who might be new to the board, historically, this time of year, numbers have gone down 10, 15 students. I don't know what the numbers would be.
At a guess, I would say.
A noticeable
yep.
amount, whereas I would say these numbers look like they are as stable as I could possibly expect them to be.
Yeah.
And so I noted that. Seems a little different than previous years, but hopefully a good sign.
Yeah.
Numbers are staying stable for us.
Do we have any data that might explain a good thing?
We are doing great things in this district.
No question about that. What I'm thinking of is maybe we are seeing some fruit of things like AVID and early interventions and that sort of thing. Because it was my experience that after the end of first semester, there would be high school students who would look at their situation and feel like, well, I'm not going to make it, so they leave. So I'm hopeful, and I guess that's my question is there any data that would be available that might help us understand why this is happening now? Is it an abnormality? Is it a sign of good things to come? It's not a question about how, everybody's been working incredibly hard for many, many decades, so that isn't the issue. But if we are seeing some stability in enrollment that we hadn't seen before, how can we account for it and then continue to build on that?
It's a great question, and it's also a question when we start talking about graduation, because we'd like to see that data with some of the programs that we've implemented. I know Heidi's taken over the AVID program, and that has had that's made a huge difference for us. If you look at that demographic with what they've had before.
That's my point.
I mean,
I think
anecdotally,
we've made some strong efforts to meet the needs of students that might otherwise be at risk, at least the old term. I don't know if they're using that anymore, but this is a good sign, and I'm hopeful that we can study the information in such a way as maybe to say, yeah, okay, then just more evidence that we think we're doing the right thing, and this is evidence that we are.
And I just, from the outside too, just the image, we keep improving. We get positive comments talking about positive things about Faribault Public Schools too, with other superintendents and other area schools. So it's not a negative thing. So we hear positive things coming in from the outside. So I think that helps too. So these are all anecdotal, but you're right, we need to probably get some more measurements that would be more specific.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
Yeah, if you look at the numbers, looks like we've increased from K through 9, but then we start losing more kids, 10, 11, and 12, especially in the 12th grade.
If you wanna-
So as a 10th, 11th, 12th, yeah, we lose little, then it increases as
Mhm.
the grade goes up, so.
Yeah, that's pretty typical,
But
especially
we
with kids who are early
gained a lot
graduation. Yeah.
K through 9, which
Yeah.
I think pretty much keeps us pretty steady.
And what I would add, I just decided to go back and look at an old agenda from 2012, so 3 years ago. And at this point, during that year, we were down 50 students from September. Actually, we were down almost 100 students from September. That's how dramatic the changes can be, and now we're steady, rock solid across. It's a very different trend, and that had been true for a number of years. That was not unusual that year. I don't recall. I might be I just randomly chose it. So in the past, I've been used to seeing the numbers go up towards the middle of the year, and then fall off towards the end of the year. And this year, we're not seeing that. And anyway, I don't know why that is, but it's interesting for me to note.
Well, and I just want to back up what I was saying before. Three really good examples. At the MSBA conference, we had our AVID program, and we had our automotive program, and people see that, and it's a visual that they can see. And then at the MASA conference, Anne-Marie and Margaret presented our STEAM program. And again, you get people talking about that, and I've gotten a couple positive comments about how that has gone too. So we're putting some of these good things that are out there too. We're not just communicating within our community, we're reaching out to greater Minnesota. So. But it's all anecdotal right now.
Yeah, between September and March in 2011 and 2012, we changed by about 100 students between our standards. Now, some of that was ALC. Wow, you don't need to watch me analyze that thing now, but I'm a numbers junkie. Your chair got distracted by looking at numbers, I apologize. But there's it seems like the trends are different right now than they have been in the past, and that was interesting for me to note. So we can move on with the agenda. Are there other questions or comments about this item? Okay. Hearing none then, let's move along to the financial report. Are there any questions on the financial report in front of you this evening?
I
Shows where our
don't recall
spending is at
any
this
from
point
the
here.
finance committee, there weren't any specific questions or comments when it was presented.
We're in line with where we expected to be at this point in the year. Up next is consider approval for resolutions for gifts and donations. Do we have any? Oh,
Yep.
the resolutions, that's why this looks different to me. So we have a number of resolutions. Can we adopt them all in one resolution?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. So I will, because there's a number of them. We have a number of donations to look at this evening. I'll read through these. There's 9 of them. From the American Legion, the amount of $300 to be used for scholarships and equipment for the Faribault Falcon Archery Program through community education. From the Faribault Booster Club, the amount of $300 to be used to purchase Faribault Public School t-shirts for new teaching staff from Freddy's Locker Room High School Store. From Chad and Stephanie Christensen, 15 balls with a value of $25 to $50 to be used in the gymnasium at McKinley Early Childhood Center. From the Faribault Blue Line Club, the amount of $4,613, a donation to pay for coaches' salaries for the hockey program. From the Friends of Buckingham Memorial Library, the amount of $100, a donation for stops for volunteering at their breakfast fundraiser. From Mr. and Mrs. David Hansen, a refurbished computer to be used for the robotics program. And from Ambassador and Mrs. Robert Flatten, another refurbished computer to be used with the robotics program. From the Faribault Archery Club, 19 medals with a value of $76 for the end of season awards for the Community Ed Faribault Falcon Archers Club. And finally from John's Bait and Tackle, 12 arrows with a value of $64 for door prizes for the end of the season celebration for the community at Faribault Falcon Archers Club. So for these donations and for all other ways in which our community gives back to our school district, we express our thanks. And I will entertain a motion to approve Resolution 1501 to accept these gifts and donations.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item?
Grateful and impressive list.
It's a nice list. Right. This is a resolution and therefore must be done by a roll call. Mr. Clerk?
Tom,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
Yvette,
Aye.
myself, I, Jerry,
Aye.
Andrea,
Aye.
Chad.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, passes 7-0.
All right, thank you very much. This brings us to item 9 in the agenda, other committee reports. Starting with the Insurance Committee from Nicole Yocum. Is there a report from Nicole from the Insurance Committee?
Good evening. We had a fairly short insurance committee meeting on March 11th. This time of the year, we are now, or actually now there's a new HIDA law that requires the school district to go out for bid for our health insurance premiums I believe it's every 2 years. So we're in the first year of that new process. So on March 11th, that was our deadline for our RFPs, and we did receive 6 sealed bids from eligible companies in the state of Minnesota. After that meeting, we scheduled an additional meeting. It was scheduled for today. We canceled it because of the snow day, so we're rescheduled for April 2nd at 3:30 at the district office. At that meeting, we will be really analyzing the bids with our insurance rep and trying to come up with a recommendation on which carrier to select for the 15-16 school year.
With these bids, what's the requirement to go with the lowest bid for many other bid processes? I know we have that requirement. Is that strictly true here, or can we choose whichever one we want?
You can choose, you just have to have some justification of why you're choosing it. I know that some school districts are choosing PEEP as their insurance carrier only because it's part of the public employees insurance coverage. There have been coverages that are actually less than what they've quoted, but but there's been a couple schools I know that have accepted that even though they have the higher bid, just because they're a public employees insurance company. So you don't have to, but you have to have some data supporting why you don't choose it.
Any other questions on that process?
Are we looking at self-insurance, or what's the status of that?
We did receive 1 bid for self-insurance.
But we cannot comment on any of those currently until the next meeting.
Right, as Yvette mentioned, at this point in time, all of the information is still confidential, and it's not public. It will be made public on April 2nd at our next insurance committee meeting.
Any other questions for Nicole? All right, and speaking of the insurance committee, as a number of you know, Chad Wolf was at the MSBA conference and got excited about the idea of self-insurance and wanted to participate in that. And so since he was participating in thinking about what we're doing for insurance, we thought it might be appropriate to in fact put him on the insurance committee, which currently I think has 1 board member, which is Andrea, if I'm not mistaken. 2, so it has Yvette as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then we would have a 3rd board member on that committee, which is perfectly okay. We're wondering if the board would consider approving the addition of Chad Wolf to the insurance committee.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on that?
Do I have to abstain?
No, I
No.
don't think so.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, I think so.
Didn't know if there's a conflict.
Can't accept
Could
any
be the
money for
deciding
it.
vote, Chad, you know.
Well, I didn't know if there's a conflict of interest there.
No.
No.
So we're
Kind
not
of
paying you to do it, just to be clear. At least not any extra. Any other discussion on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. And that brings us to the Wellness Committee. Anne Marie.
Good evening. It was already brought up earlier that we're going to be looking at the wellness policy and revising it a little bit. So we're having a subcommittee of a vet volunteered, Tim Cockram, who is our food service director, and Sarah Coulter from Public Health, Janet Lewis-Muth, who represents the Mental Health Collective, myself, and Lori Codette, our school nurse. So we will be revising that and hoping to meet those deadlines of June, I believe I heard, in order to get that implemented in fall. So we will work fast and furiously to come up with some revisions and edits that are hopefully for approval from the board. So on to the other piece of what we discussed at the Wellness Committee was the pandemic plan. And both Richard and Yvette were there as well at the meeting last couple weeks ago. So with that plan, we're going to revise it, look at it, and bring it to our next April meeting, which is April 1st. And there will be some changes proposed then, and we will also float that out to the board for approval as well. Anything else that either of you would like to? Okay. Great. That's it.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
No other questions? Any other questions? All right. Hearing none, up next is the community ed report,
Yes.
which is also Anne Marie, which is why she's still standing there.
Yes. Thank you. One of the first things I want to comment about is a proposal that was submitted a few weeks ago to Workforce Development, Inc. on behalf of Faribault Public Schools Adult Education in collaboration with South Central College. We were awarded $15,000 to provide a CNA, or Certified Nursing Assistant, program to adults. And this should get us about a class of 10 to 15 students, hopefully getting students that are not quite ready to take the Certified Nursing Assistant class at South Central. So we're going to be preparing them through adult education and then following them with an adult basic ed instructor to that CNA class at the South Central College level and helping those students pass that exam and hopefully get gainfully employed. So we're really thrilled to have been awarded that. We're hoping that we can recruit the folks that we need to. Yes, as Jessica Lewis, our adult ed coordinator, sitting here. So very good news for adult education. Yes, please.
So is the only requirement that they have a diploma or GED and then they enroll in adult basic education, basically?
That's a really good question. In order to qualify for the program at South Central, and in order to be able to benefit in terms of financial aid packages or whatever, you do have to have an adult diploma or not an adult diploma, I'm sorry, a diploma or a GED. The other qualifications, really what we're looking for, because we're working with our workforce development partner, is low income, maybe on a public assistance program like Minnesota Family Investment Program, receiving child care assistance, one of the social services. So that's really the target for the students. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's trying to move people off of public assistance and into self-sufficient family wage supporting jobs. As Todd mentioned earlier, Margaret Gare and I presented at the Minnesota Association for School Administrators Conference on STEAM. It was a really good conference. I'm not quite sure what else to say, but it went well, and people are very interested in the program that we've developed. There was just a lot of acknowledgement and praise of the model. So we've worked really hard, and as Colleen mentioned, that deadline is coming up, and we're hoping to enroll as many students as possible this year, 400 to 450 about. So we're all getting prepared to do so, hiring staff, getting those interviews going with the community education staff. So it will be a great summer. Just my last topic, we have an advisory council meeting tomorrow at 4 o'clock at the district office, and we'll be continuing to do some strategic doing, not planning, but doing. We want some action-oriented goals, so that's about it. Thank you.
So I have on here facility report, which would be Kevin, but I don't see Kevin.
Yeah, we had to cancel our meeting today too, so.
So
yeah.
will there not be a report then?
Right.
Okay. Report canceled due to snow day. All right, this brings us to item 10, other matters, beginning with consider approval of the application for cooperative sponsorship agreement with Minnesota State Academy for the Blind. Todd, would you like to tell us a little bit about this? What is this for?
Just co-op with, there are some students at the academies that would like to participate in our track program.
In our track program? Okay. All right, any questions on this item? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the cooperative sponsorship agreement with Minnesota State Academy for the Blind in the sport of track. We must not have, Ken is not here. We must not have a cooperative agreement with anybody else for track then.
That's
Is that
correct.
right?
Yep, we're just on
'Cause
our own.
normally we have to dissolve one before we approve a new one.
Right, this is,
When
right,
we
this is,
have multiple schools, but that's not the case here.
yep, correct.
Any other questions on this item?
BA has their own floor.
Okay.
Todd, do we count their enrollment 9 through 12?
Not for the academies.
Not for the academies, okay.
Any other questions? If memory serves, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And that brings us to item 10B, consider approval of a Faribault Public Schools high school diploma for Faribault Public Schools adult diploma recipients. And they're already on their way up. Excellent. Come on up.
There are several of us involved, and Sam Oak's not here, and he should be, because it's been a big collaborative effort to get this off the ground. I am going to let Jessica, who's the coordinator of adult ed, talk about the program and the request for an adult diploma to be issued from Faribault Public Schools.
Great. Good evening. So Faribault's been selected to pilot the new state adult high school diploma, which is a standard competency-based diploma, and it's issued by the State Department of Education for adults that complete an improved ABE program. So what it is, this program is designed for students that are 21 and older that were close to completion but aged out of our K-12 system. And so I am here today. The Department of Ed is strongly encouraging local school districts to grant a local diploma. Right now in the state of Minnesota, there are 26 adult education programs that are a part of this pilot. Mankato School District will be giving their adult high school diploma graduates a Mankato high school diploma. I'm like, where is everyone?
You got a band in there. It's all you now.
So basically,
it was a big group effort, but you can
yes,
do the presentation.
yes.
See that.
And like Anne Marie was saying, this is a huge collaboration between ALC. There is definitely, and Sam Oak with our ESL population that happens to age out of our system. There's definitely a need for this program. Just looking within my program and Margaret's, and we found over 40 students that would be eligible for this adult diploma.
Just to add, those students probably have maybe 3 credits. They're shy just by a few credits, and they've been a part of Faribault Public Schools, so it would just be a tremendous way to recognize their effort to that point and be able to still issue a local diploma.
It is amazing to see how many students were short in social studies or math, like literally 1 credit. And because they aged out of the system, they weren't awarded that high school diploma.
And correct me if I'm wrong, when you guys presented this earlier at the curriculum committee, I think is where I would have seen it, you talked about the value for a student, the alternative would be to do a GED, and that for many employers, having that local diploma just carries more value than having the GED or other programs, and so there's a real strong benefit for for these students to think about doing it through their local schools versus trying to do it through one of the larger programs, and also a little more streamlined than trying to come back and get ready for the GED, which is a whole separate program.
Absolutely.
Yes. There's also an eligibility piece to this. We will not be awarding adult diplomas to everyone that enrolls. There is a 6th grade reading cutoff score to be eligible. When you look at our K-12 students here that graduate from Faribault High School, there's a varying, huge range of abilities. You can't tell me that everyone's walking out reading at a 12th grade reading ability.
Chair, so if I understand this, the adult diploma is competency-based, as you mentioned, so rather than having to take a social studies credit, there's a process of identifying what those competencies are and where the student has completed those competencies.
Correct. So they're getting credit for prior learning, and then also I am working with masters of these content. So I'm working with science, math, social studies, and they're coming up and helping me create projects that would align to these standards.
Is there any cost to this?
No.
Is there, because we're one of, I think you said 21 pilots, does the state reimburse or kick anything in or anything like that, or how's that work?
They did give us a $10,000 grant
Basically, yep.
for a startup fee.
But you get funding for the students attending.
Oh,
Can you
Yes.
explain
Yeah,
through
it's,
that?
adult basic ed has a really complicated formula, but the biggest piece of the funding is that seat time, is that contact time with the student. So anytime we serve a student, although we're capped, and we are capped at 11% in terms of contact hour revenue prior year, but we will see some of that revenue coming back to the program. But for the student, it's no cost, as is all of adult basic ed programming.
Other questions?
Yeah, for a student that just quit school, just, I'm tired of school, does this diminish the regular student that finishes? It just, 12th grade, say, I don't need it, I can quit legally. I think they raised the age by a year, is that correct?
Yes.
Mr. Seska, right?
17.
Yeah, so, but does this diminish the regular students that, got their diploma?
No, they still have to meet all the same competencies. We were very adamant about that as we went to our training up the state, that these students don't just get to walk in and we give them the diploma. They have to meet competencies, and they're designed to have rigor to those competencies.
And it doesn't promote dropout because we won't serve them until they're 21, even though they could legally drop out at 17. Not through the diploma program, we can serve them through GED, but that's it.
It actually will keep them in our system longer. This is an avenue of hope for those students who, they can do the numbers, they can figure out if they can complete a diploma before they're 21 or not. And knowing that this avenue is there keeps them with us. We work on those skills and competencies until we can transition into adult diploma.
Another point that you made at the curriculum meeting that I thought was well taken was that right now you could have a student who's 20 and starts doing the math on can they get finished before they're 21, and the answer might be no, they can't finish before they're 21. And this kind of creates a feeling of no hope, I can't get done. What's the point? And now there isn't that, I turned 21, I'm kicked out, sort of. They could start working then, get as far as they can, but they turn 21, there's another place for them to go to get finished up, so that you don't end up, I know Margaret said you had some students who get to that age, they're 19 or 20 and realizing that they need to get back in school and get that diploma and get finished up. But the time just is not there for them anymore to be served through our traditional route, and so this now gives them that path, and I think that's, you don't want to create a situation where somebody's promoted to drop out because there's no hope from being done in time.
But I would argue, that people have their own consequences. I mean, nobody likes dropping out of high school, and it's not
Right, yeah.
easy. I mean, people graduating on time and going on to school or employment is a great benefit, and most people that are in this situation don't really choose it. I mean, and they have their own consequences probably naturally.
Yeah.
Having spent about 7 years working part-time at the ALC and now the last 7 years teaching at the prison, I've encountered a number of students who have had trouble in school for a wide variety of reasons. And it hasn't been one time in my experience that a student says, oh, I'm just tired of school, I'm gonna quit. There are too many things, adverse situations, whatever it might be. I mean, the list is endless. But I think this program is a powerful statement to saying that we believe anybody can learn at any time. And no matter what you've been through, whatever caused you trouble before, if you've gotten that under control, you've got a handle on that now. We're here to back you up and help you attain the educational goals that you have. So I think this is an outstanding program.
Yes, we're giving people hope, and also the last piece to all of this is that I'm conducting an exit interview. So before they start our program, I find out what they're interested in, and then we connect them to post-secondary. So whether it's South Central or it's culinary school, I'll be that bridge. So.
That's awesome. I'm very excited about the program, and I just thank you guys for putting the effort into making sure that we're one of the pilots, and I hope the program takes off, but it's exciting to me that, I mean, I guess I mean to say, I know it's gonna take off here, I hope it takes off across the state, that everybody is doing it, but it's exciting to me that we have a team that made sure we were in on the ground floor and didn't wait for everybody else to be doing it before we got there. And so I thank you so much for your efforts on that, and I'm very excited about the program and what it can do for people in our community, and you have my heartfelt thanks in getting us here.
I'll make a motion to approve the Faribault Public High School's diploma for Faribault Public Schools adult diploma recipients.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Faribault Public Schools High School Diploma for Faribault Public Schools Adult Diploma recipients. That is a long title. That is what we're voting on. Any further discussion on this item?
Yeah, just another final comment, another spectacular program that we're kicking off. And I just want to say thanks to those four individuals, Anne-Marie and Jessica and Margaret and Sam, who have worked tirelessly to get this thing up and running. It was really an honor for us to get chosen in the state to pilot this program, and I'm just super proud of these guys, so it's great.
Any more questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you all. Up next, we have item 10C, consider approval of the Faribault Public Schools 2015-2016 school calendar. You have a calendar in front of you. Superintendent Sesker, would you like to say anything about this calendar?
Yeah, I think that the expert is clean if you have any questions about the calendar, but we're a little bit late on this because we've been looking at flexible schedules for that. It's pretty standard. There's a spring break in there you can see, and we have the right number of days for staff and for students. So,
Shorter Christmas break.
yeah.
I guess is the main issue, huh?
That's right.
There's a conversation going on about perhaps implementing a flexible schedule at the high school. Is this correct?
It's actually K-12. We're having a
K-12
discussion,
flexible
yeah,
calendar.
yep.
Okay.
That's not part of this calendar, but I've encouraged Colleen to continue those conversations to
Right, and that's what I was saying. So it seems like when we were discussing, you raised the possibility that we may have to revisit this calendar if those discussions go forward, or certainly for the following year.
Yeah, we could, yep.
But there is a point at which we need to approve a calendar, and we've waited kind of as long as we can, so.
That's correct.
But there are ongoing discussions that could affect this calendar, I guess, is an important thing to point out.
Yep.
Yes, please.
Am I counting 6 early dismissals? Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll state my objections to this is that I want to increase the student-teacher contact time, and I think this takes away from it. Is there any way, has anybody even thought of getting away from this? How can we?
We are having conversations about changing our schedule currently, and that's that flexible scheduling piece. However, at this point, this is the calendar that we're proposing.
The next calendar, will there be discussion on how to? Will there be?
Right,
Really an effort to
Right,
eliminate early
we currently
dismissal.
are looking at a possibility, when we do the flex scheduling, we are talking about the possibility of moving to Thursday, early, late starts. And that will reduce the amount of time from, it's still not, it doesn't totally wipe it out, but it will reduce some of the amount of time. But we're still in conversations about that at this point.
Yeah, there's a careful balance of training the staff and making sure that the teachers have the materials and the resources that they need to actually help them be better teachers too. So we're trying to strike that balance right now.
And that is the time, currently what we're using that time for, as you're fully aware. One of the things we're using it for is the technology piece to train our staff. So
Do we do that before or after school?
we're also doing that there also, before and after school opportunities for our staff.
And we're also trying to make sure that we're not pulling away from other resources to do that. In other words, there's a financial piece of that too that we have to be very aware of.
How many hours would this include?
How many?
6 times what, 3 or 2 or
Oh, so,
Take it out of one.
yeah, I had
Yeah,
that
6
worked out.
times two,
I did not
12
bring
hours.
that, yeah.
something about 12 hours of
Yeah.
instruction?
Mhm.
Gone?
That is why we're moving to the discussions of the Thursday late starts, but that's, again, something that we're still in the middle of discussing.
Then what parties actually are involved in this event, making up the calendar?
So Kathy and I, Kathy's very helpful with this, we design usually 2 to 4 different calendars. We bring the proposals to a group of approximately 3 union members. And those 3 union members help us to usually whittle it down to maybe 1 or 2, and then bring it to the staff, and the staff does a staff vote. That's a typical process for the calendar.
Why isn't this a managerial decision?
I think
Totally.
contractually, it's either contractually or it's something that Faribault has always done. So it's either or. But I believe that in the contract, it talks about the staff having to have input on the calendar. I think that's
And
also, that's actually in the
That's where I
contract.
object to is the staff, you know, it should be managerial. Basically, you know, the superintendent and the leadership of setting the calendar.
It-
If I can, sorry. Cody.
Go ahead.
The
Yeah.
board does have the right to approve it or not approve the contract, so it's a meet and confer issue. They've discussed it with parties that are directly affected, but Richard, we do have the power as a board to say, yes, this is the contract or not. But we also have to approve it by, what is it, April 1st? They have to be approved in order to have that published. And there are people out there waiting
Yeah.
to know what the calendar is going to be next year.
I know this is late.
But it does play into the contract, though, the hours that teachers are working, I mean, those are, we have to work within those
Right.
hours, which I guess is what I would have to add.
Well, yeah, the issue of early dismissal, I think it strikes me that you're trying to balance 3 things here, and I don't know what the perfect solution is, or if there even is one, because there's the contractual obligations to how many hours we can require the teachers to be around. There's maximizing student-teacher contact time, and then there's trying to make sure that we're doing all the trainings we want. And I don't think you can win all 3 of those.
No, it's a balancing act.
And so that's the balancing act. Now, is this the perfect balancing act, I guess, is for the board to vote on? Or is it a good enough balancing act for the moment, I guess, is what we're voting on. But those are the things that you're balancing when you're doing this. And those are the challenges that we face.
Mr. Chair, one of the advantages of early dismissal, Colleen, correct me if I'm wrong, is that whatever skills are being presented, technology or what have you, I can go back to my classroom that day or the next day and start trying to implement them to see how it's working. So you get that trial and error to come back. And if you have staff development outside of the school year, then they gotta wait how many days before they can start using it in their classroom. So there's some instructional advantages to having those early dismissals.
Definitely.
If we're gonna have
Plus,
a,
as you know, staff development, quality staff development is ongoing. It's not
Right, exactly.
one shot over here and one shot over there. It's an ongoing process. That is the best, research will show you that the best type of staff development is an ongoing process.
Right.
So this helps with that.
And giving staff an opportunity to try that skill
Right.
with their classrooms.
I'd like to second what Jerry was just saying, having gone through that and had an opportunity to take advantage of staff development opportunities and then be able to try and implement them in my classroom right away was a good thing. I know that instructional time is a concern of all of us, but if we ought to have a broader base in a discussion of what's taking away instructional time. How many hours do we lose to standardized testing? How many hours do we lose to a number of other things? So to focus on staff development seems to be a little short, narrowing the discussion too much.
Point well taken.
I know we're looking at this calendar. Can somebody quick inform me, what does flex scheduling mean?
Oh, it's just looking, it's a generic term. We're looking at possibly changing the beginning of the day so that in this situation, we're looking at some common planning time. We're looking at maybe even shifting the early outs to late starts, because then the teachers, when they get that, they can implement it right away, whatever those programs are that they're working on. So it's just changing the schedule up. Instead of being the same 6-period day in the high school, maybe there's a skinny in there somewhere that you can be more flexible. So that's all it is, nothing more than that.
And that was one of the reasons why you're bringing forward just 1 year contract or calendar.
Right, right. We, one of the concerns of we talk about early releases versus late starts, is that we have a coaching staff, and we obviously support that idea that, we want our coaches there and we want our kids to participate. And sometimes with the early release, what happens is we lose some of our staff to go coach. And so that would balance that if we could move to the late starts instead. Then people would not be missing, and we would still be supporting, our extracurriculars.
I'll move approval of the 15-16 school calendar.
We have a motion to approve the 2015-2016 school calendar. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Faribault Public Schools 2015-2016 school calendar as presented. Any further discussion?
I just have a question. In like the coming years, like 3, 4, are you looking at block scheduling at all? Just like, I don't care either way.
It's okay to care.
That's good.
I don't want to.
No. I actually taught 6 years under a block schedule, and it was, to this day, I would vouch that it's the best schedule I've ever taught.
Doesn't it
under.
add another elective class?
Yeah, it's like an 8-period day.
Yeah,
basically.
that's what I thought.
So,
It'd be nice
but it would be adding another elective.
Thank
Yep.
you.
There's a lot of different. That's another type of flexible schedule, but
it-
there's other schedules.
Because then it messes up your whole like, PLC again thing.
Yeah.
So I understand if that's like.
Well, and I love
thinking
teaching.
about
I love teaching algebra for an hour and a half.
Great.
It
Or
worked. It's
science.
great. Yep.
Especially for math and science, I
Yep.
can understand how that would be the best. Is like
Industrial arts.
you sit down and work.
Just have a comment, whoever drew this up, remember doing calendars by hand for years. This was very nicely done.
There's a lot of things to balance in these calendars. It's not an easy process. So I appreciate the work that went into it. Any other discussion on this item? We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
No.
Mr. Clerk, would you please do a roll call?
Yes, Tom,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
Yvette,
Aye.
myself, no, Jerry,
Aye.
Andrea,
Aye.
Chad.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, it passes 6-1.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. And that brings us to item 10D, consider approval of pay equity implementation report. I think this is a Nicole item. Were you gonna tell us about that?
I'll let Nicole summarize. I don't want to mess anything up.
I feel like I've been talking about this a lot lately, so if I go too fast, go ahead and slow me down. This is an odd year for us to be reporting our information. Last year, 2014, was the year that we needed to report. The state requires us to do this every 3 years. So we reported our information last year, and if you remember, a few years ago, for those of you that were here, we did a complete overhaul to our job descriptions, which assigned new points to all of our positions. So when we submitted that to the state with the new points, they got it and it passed all their compliance testing, but they were very confused as to why none of the numbers matched what we had reported a few years ago. So anyways, this year they've asked us to revise it, and provide explanations as to why the points have changed and why positions have different titles and so forth. So I did summarize up all that information. I submitted it to them again, and we've gotten our second notice of being in compliance with pay equity. So basically what it is the state will look at our organization as a whole, and taking our lowest paid individual with the least amount of points assigned to their position and our highest paid individual with the most assigned points in the organization, there should be a gradual increase that is, that you can mathematically determine where all the rest of the positions should fall. Looking at our organization, our line is not perfectly straight, so we have a little bit of work to do, but it is in compliance. The state will look at 3 main points. It will look at our female.
And just, that's the second attachment on your computer if you want to pull that up.
I see that.
Okay. Oh, the line.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. It will look at our female and male classes and how many of them are over the line, and then it will look at our female and male classes and how many are under the line. So in that analogy, our males are balanced completely. We have 6 over the line and 6 under the line. Our females, we have 15 over the line and 22 under the line. So we're a little out of whack with our female classes. It looks like we're paying them lower than what we should be in comparison to the males. We're still in compliance, but we have a little work to do with that part of the test. The second part of the test is what they call the salary range test. So that just looks at how long does it take our male classes to get to their maximum monthly salary versus our females to get to their maximum monthly salary. And that we're at 80%. So it takes our males an average of 3.33 years to get to their average maximum salary. It takes our females 4.15 years to get to their maximum monthly salary. So again, it looks like we're letting our males get to their maximum salary faster than our females. Again, we're still in compliance. We have a little work to do in that area as well. And then the last area that they test is what they call exceptional service pay, and that is how many of our females receive longevity versus how many of our males receive longevity. 50% of our males receive longevity and 43% of our females receive longevity. So, and that calculation does make us in compliance still, but it is still a little lower. So those are the 3 areas that they look at. We have a little work to do, and we do that every time we negotiate. We really look at this information, and we can input our data, our negotiations data and salary data into our Comforth database to try and help us make any adjustments along the way. It can be a slow process, especially if we only negotiate every 2 years with all of our bargaining units. But we've made a lot of progress over the last few years.
And so we need to approve this this report that didn't get sent to the state. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the pay equity implementation report.
So,
Is there a second?
second,
We have a motion and a
as
second.
soon as the music stops.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, how come that you're treating, a woman, a man, it's a person, right? Should be a
Right.
person, you're hiring a person. Then fill in the blank, why is there a difference then?
Well, that's a good question. The reason why this law come into place is because many, many years ago, females were historically paid less than females, and
For
we're,
the same work.
right.
I would argue currently that is still the
Still the
case.
case.
Yes, it was worse, you're right.
Right, exactly.
Now, how does this compare to the private sector?
I'm not really sure,
Okay.
I'm not familiar with, I've been out of the private sector for a long time.
Do they do the same reports if they don't have to, right?
They just passed a law where now, I believe it's this year, they do have to start doing the same report.
Oh, okay.
Any further discussion on this item? We have a motion and a second, if members serve me. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Up next, we have a resolution, 1502, for placing probationary staff on non-renewal status. Superintendent Sesker, do you want to tell us about what this action involves?
Yeah, these are non-tenured staff or staff who were here for a year that were non-renewing, and these are the recommendations from the principals for those various areas, and I just recommend approval.
Todd, are these staff members aware of this?
Yes.
All right.
It goes back to like they just didn't make the grade, or just, what's the?
Yep, it's
The
it's
reason-
it's non-tenured. These are the recommendations for the recommendations come from the principals for non-renewal, and it could vary from performance to we hired this person for a year.
Oh.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Is it a, resolution?
Resolution 1502.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. Let me get the wording right. Placing probationary staff on non-renewal status. Any further discussion on this item? This is a resolution and therefore demands a roll call. So, Mr. Clerk, if you please do a roll call.
Tom,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
Yvette,
Aye.
myself, I, Jerry,
Aye.
Andrea,
Aye.
Chad.
Aye.
Mr. Chair passes 7-0.
All right, thank you very much. And this brings us to consider approval. This is item now 10F. Consider approval of Resolution 1503, designating Todd Sesker as identified official authority for Minnesota Department of Education secure websites.
Andy
Is there
told
anybody in the room who can tell us what that means?
Andy told me I had to do this.
MDE told me I had to tell Todd he had to do this. So this came from the Minnesota Department of Ed last week, and it was late in the week that we got this memo saying, oh, FYI, beginning April 1st, your superintendent, for your superintendent to grant access to any secure MDE website, that has to be stated in your board minutes. So it came at the very last minute. It was actually after our board deadline. Kathy's on vacation. I've never written a resolution before, so it was a little bit like, what do we do? So what you see is not what you're used to seeing for a resolution. MDE was not even clear if it needed to be a resolution or just simply an action item, so I think we're gonna err on having it be a resolution. So I apologize, that's not what you would typically see, but it was pretty last minute. So what this really does is it says that Todd has the authority to go onto the MDE website and grant specific people access to certain modules of the MDE website. Before it was just a paper pencil form that we had to do, and now they're making us jump through some hoops. So, any questions?
One question, does this mean that if I want to navigate the MD website, I have to go talk to Todd?
No.
And he's going to be able to navigate through that thing?
It's very difficult, yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. I still like the old one from about 10 years ago. It was
Absolutely.
much easier.
They actually just came out with a survey, so I could give
Yeah,
you the
I saw
link and
that.
you
Yeah,
could,
I saw that survey, yeah.
give your input.
Well, you can't find the survey.
Well, that's true. Good luck.
Any
other
further
questions?
discussion on this item? I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 1503.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second to approve Resolution 1503. I'm not going to, well, I will read it again. Designating Todd Sesker as identified official authority for Minnesota Department of Education secure websites. Is there any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, would you please do a roll call?
Tom,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
Yvette,
Aye.
myself, I, Jerry,
Aye.
Andrea,
Aye.
Chad.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, it passes 7-0.
All right, thank you very much. Item 10G, discussion of prioritizing proposals from staff. I think this was Superintendent Sesker wanted to tell us a little bit about some things he's been doing.
Yeah, just briefly, and I've had a couple of you come down during our meetings, actually, and the next time that we meet, Kathy's setting up those appointments to meet with you folks. I've met with a couple of you and we've gone through the board and you've seen there's white pieces of paper that are along the wall of all the different presentations and all the different proposals that we've had. We had our leadership, I gave them 5 votes. They can only vote one time. I'm assuming that you only voted one time for one item, but you get 5 votes. So they couldn't put 5 of their votes on one item, Terry. Yeah. So, they have received feedback from their own staff. A couple of the proposals that you saw from Jefferson and Lincoln and Jefferson, Lincoln, and Roosevelt, obviously they came from the staff, so the leadership is supporting those proposals. And so approximately 25 leaders now have put in 5 dots on those pieces of paper. And if you can come in and take a look at it sometime when we're meeting, it kind of gives you an idea of where the staff is feeling about these different proposals. Eventually, we're going to have to funnel all those proposals. Remember, we're about at $2 million down to probably, if I had to guess, maybe about $500,000 of ads. So you can kind of get a good idea of where the staff is, and then that can enter into what your thinking process is when you're going to have to eventually make these decisions in late April or early May for the budget next year. So I would encourage you to do that when we sit down. If I forget to take you into the boardroom over at the district office, please remind me, and you can kind of see what the staff has looked at their priorities. And we can continue the discussion, but you'll be able to see it starting to funnel down, and it's going to help you with your decision when we get closer to budget time, what those priorities are. Okay.
Is there any more information on ADSIS, that ADSIS?
You know, that's a good question. We just started that application, and do you know, is Anne-Marie, how far are we in? I'm going to ask Anne-Marie to come up. She's our grant expert here. And Colleen Cardenuto is working on it. Well, what's our progress now? How far are we as far as the application goes? And it's not really a grant now, it's more of an application for the funds.
We've been meeting for several months, so we have a tentative plan in place. Colleen actually started putting some text together.
So we met over spring break and talked about pretty much what our proposal would look like. So we have some thoughts about what we're going to be asking for and the approximate amount that it will cost us. So basically what we have to do this week is to pretty much finalize a full draft of this and then bring it to leadership and cabinet and just have a quick conversation. We're looking at currently our best guess. We were doing, with what we can afford, we're guessing 3 interventionists and 3 behaviorists. And that's basically what we can afford with the amount that we want to stay around, which is with the district generally paying about $255,000.
Yep.
And then the grant will pick up the rest.
$249,000.
So that's right now what our draft looks like. It's certainly not done, but something that we have been working on.
And I think you're going to be working with the principals, especially with the elementary schools, of trying to maybe taking some of their proposals and hopefully combining what Terry has brought forward with his staff and what Brad has brought forward with his staff and what Jennifer has brought forward with her staff.
So we meet with the elementary principals on Thursday, so
Yep.
that will be part of that discussion.
And when do you anticipate an answer, if we get it or don't get it?
Yeah, it's July.
So basically, the grant will start July 1st. So to kind of give you a heads up with MDE, as you're probably aware, is that we turn it in, I believe our deadline is April 15th or 16th? 16th?
Yep.
Okay, so April 16th, so they have all the way from April 16th to July 1st to really respond to that. We're hoping that they quickly respond, but sometimes
They typically push it to the
Don't count on it.
edge.
There's a deadline for a reason, right?
Yep.
They'll hit it.
Exactly.
Right.
Also, the funding would include some training for the staff too, so I just wanted to make sure that was
Oh, yeah,
mentioned.
thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you. So Todd, help me out here. Back to the 3 elementary proposals. The board has seen Roosevelt's.
Yep.
The curriculum committee has seen Lincoln's.
Yep.
The board has seen Jefferson's.
Right.
However, Lincoln and Roosevelt are more student academic related. Jefferson is more building related?
Behavior.
In terms of behavior?
Yep, yep. And so then, yeah, Lincoln will propose to the board at the work session. So the board will get a chance to
Yeah.
hear Lincoln's proposal one more time.
But part of Jefferson's also had to do with adding on, did it not? Of
Facilities.
Facilities.
Facilities, yeah.
So I mean, that's vastly different than Lincoln and Roosevelt when we're talking about actual brick and mortar.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, when you're talking about personnel, and that's why they've got to meet with the principals next, is to talk about those proposals and how that ADSIS can tie into that whole thing. And it could change, so I would say, and it probably will change. The look may not be exactly the same proposal that Lincoln and Roosevelt and Jefferson all had. Through this process, through these grants, there's some, I'm sure there's some standards that they have to go by and meet. But they're gonna get as close as they possibly can.
Todd, is there any way with the 25 proposals, I haven't seen it yet, where you're putting the stickers on and stuff. On those proposals, do they at all address how many students will be directly impacted?
Yeah, we have had those conversations with those. And it, you know, it's kind of a measure for those pieces too. And it's easy for the principals to sit back and decide what those things measure. For example, we've got one of the proposals on there is the robotics to add $10,000 to the budget. And even though it reaches maybe 26 kids right now, 25, 26 kids, the $10,000 goes a long way for the PR of our school district. It's a great addition that we've been wanting for a long, long time. So those factors also kind of enter that whole decision-making process. But certainly the impact of kids per dollar amount has a lot to do with it. And you're gonna see more of that as we get forward. And when those decisions really start coming, that's the questions you wanna ask is, what is the impact per student on this? How will that affect all the kids?
Will we have another meeting as the board with all the leadership, again, all the leadership at one time together?
With the board?
Yeah.
Did we have that before? I don't know if we've
Well,
had
we
that.
hear a proposal here and we hear a proposal there and we hear a proposal here type of thing.
Yeah. It's really hard with the board. We can certainly have, and I've done this before, where we've actually had the board, we've had the leadership within the board meeting, given their presentation so they can ask or answer questions that the board might have. And that'd be something that we could look at moving ahead. I don't know if you wanna rehear all the proposals again, cause you go through, 25, 26 proposals, you'll be here for, that's kinda why we're chunking it in this timeline. But certainly if you have questions about those proposals, when we start getting down to the May deadline, that would be very much so. We just need some leeway to, when I talk to Jason or Tom, when we have our discussions about our board agendas, when do we wanna have those meetings, so we have plenty of time for those administrators to prepare to answer some of those questions that you might have. Yeah, all those techniques are great. Any kind of communication you get is good.
Anything else on this discussion item? There's not an action being asked for here.
I guess I would just, kind of going back to what Chad said about the Jefferson proposal, is look at that in two different ways maybe. I don't know, going forward, and maybe you would do that anyway, as a facilities, one-time expenditure versus the addition of staff, but I'm
Yep.
guessing that will come as we go through it.
We actually have pulled that out
Okay.
already. We've
Okay.
separated those two pieces. Yep.
Thank you.
That's what I was gonna bring up, because you're talking personnel and building.
Yeah.
They're intermixed. I don't like that
Yeah.
personally. It's just like,
Yeah,
one-time costs, it's just, and then, personnel, it should be separate.
Exactly, yep, and that's exactly what we've done too. And as we get going forward, you'll see more and more of that. In fact, at the next work session, those posters will still be up, and we've got to revise them, because I've scribbled on them and I've crossed things out, and so we've improved some of those things as we go.
And it was great to see the whole picture, I would say, during the presentation. I mean, that was very helpful to see both at the presentation, but going forward, it'd be great.
It's a process, yeah. It's a good, positive process. It's pretty nice to talk about, maintaining and adding programs than cutting. I've told people this is the second year in a row that we haven't had to cut programs, and that's a good feeling.
And I know we can't, we don't have the time, we don't have the days to sit here and have everybody present 25, 26 proposals again, but maybe as we whittle them down to our top 8 or our top 10 type of thing, it wouldn't be a bad idea to bring the leadership back. I mean, when we talk about facilities, you know, I've thought of a few questions that I would like to ask Principal Molitor of, when she talked about redoing the offices at Jefferson. Why is that office any different than what Lincoln or Roosevelt does look like or will look like? And you know, it'd be nice to have some feedback from them on the spot type of thing, if possible. I don't know if it's possible or not, but the other thing is the sustainability of these programs. Are they sustainable for 2, 3, 4, 5 years out? If they're sustainable for 1 year, I don't know if it passes muster type of thing, when other things are sustainable down the road type of thing. So.
Well, I'll be facetious. If the board can control the salary increases, then they can be sustainable. Because 80% of our budget is personnel. So if we get 1% from the state coming in as revenue, and we settle contracts for 4 or 5%, then you tell me, is it sustainable or not? I mean, those are the variables that you have to put out there. And we want to certainly give staff decent raises, but we also have to be cognizant of the revenue that we have too. So it's not going to be easy. I didn't say it's going to be easy, but you have to understand that the budget for school districts are incredibly complicated, and we're so dependent upon what the state gives us in revenue. And so it's very challenging. So I can't give you a definitive if it's going to be sustainable or not. That's up to you guys.
Okay, any other questions on just how we're gonna approach this over the next month or two here? Okay, then up next, we'll go on to items 10H and I. Well, I guess I was gonna ask, should we consider these simultaneously, focus plans, or is there a reason why we should look at them separately? I'll look to.
You can have Jennifer and Terry come up there.
Yeah.
Both of them need to be approved for the state, for the, separately, so.
Speed things up.
Do you want to hear from us first, or do you want to ask questions specifically?
So yeah, why don't we start with telling us a little bit about what these action plans are and.
Well, remember, Jefferson and Rose are both designated as focus schools, which means, you know, there's a whole elaborate kind of analysis from the state, of course. There's 2 ways to look at it. You know, we did show growth, both schools did show growth, so we didn't get on what's called the priority schools. So we did show a growth in our scores. However, the gap reduction between our white students and the students that are identified, all the other identified groups, the gap is too large, and therefore that's kind of the most general way to state it. So we are considered focus schools. The process, the state put in a waiver to the federal government regarding the manner in which they want. They asked for a waiver to look at it instead of the traditional AYP, the punitive kind of accountability measures that were back in last administration, and real punitive, and had a kind of a tiered system of consequences. This system is a much more supportive and much more growth model looked at, as opposed to this punitive model. So I think I can speak for myself, and probably Jennifer, that the process of being in this focus designation and the support we've gotten from the statewide systems of support has been pretty impressive. We've gotten 2 leadership trainings, we have another one in May that we're going to, and it's really helping us to do, the thing you're approving is a record of continuous improvement. That needed to be in by March 1st or thereabouts. Believe it or not, the state actually did have a little flexible deadline there, if you can believe that, with something. They're working with us, and we're submitting it, and it's kind of an ongoing submission as we're working through that. So what we've done is we did analysis of a needs assessment in our buildings. We had a data retreat type thing at, what was that? Jefferson, wasn't it? Jefferson. With all 3 schools, because Lincoln is going through the same process. They just don't get the support that we get really as a continuous improvement school. So we have the same advocate, right, Carol Swanson, who actually was an educator from Owatonna, who now works with the state and meets with us. She meets at Roosevelt twice a month, you know,
Jefferson twice a month.
and comes to our state leadership team meetings and helps us create our needs assessment and what we're calling our priority concerns, and then that goes in the record of continuous improvement, and that's what you're that's what you're approving. I think one thing I wanna make real clear with you, because along with the proposals that you just talked about, a lot of that did come from the site team and the focus process. But the most important piece, and the piece that we spent the most amount of time focusing in on, is what's called usable interventions. And that word intervention gets misused too much. When you think intervention, you're probably thinking work with kids, right? An intervention for kids. It's not. A usable intervention is a teacher practice, an instructional practice that is measurable, doable, and sustainable to improve student performance. It has nothing to do with the money we're asking from any of you. It is working as a site team to choose. Roosevelt chose using our student learning goals, our objectives, our learning targets, and making sure all teachers are using those and previewing with students and working with them. We're going to hold each other accountable to that. That is the biggest piece that we've gotten the most assistance on. That is, again, not adding staff. It's not adding dollars. It's improving our practice. And what's really exciting about it is that the site leadership team is teacher-driven. They should probably actually be here as opposed to us. It's their committee. I'm not the facilitator of it. I'm not the lead of it. And so they're going to be holding each other mutually accountable for this usable intervention. They're going to do some of the fidelity checks around in the classrooms and seeing how these things are being done. Okay, so that's the one piece. Then the other ones are like interventionists, improving our PLC process, which is going back to staff development, the needs we have with staff development, and then looking at our overall delivery model is what Roosevelt did. I don't know what you had for your.
Jefferson's looking solely right now at core instruction. We looked at, we came up with 3 different things that we wanted to look at: core instruction, PLC model, and then behavior in our building. And as we got talking about it, we felt like core instruction was one of the things that we needed to hit first. And so right now, we're in the process of breaking that down. You have to break that down into small little pieces. And the team met last week, or before spring break, and we were supposed to meet again tonight. And I'm sure we'll be rescheduling that, but we're meeting again with Carol Swanson on Wednesday evening to continue on. We talked about just doing with sentence starters. It was one of the things in vocabulary, breaking it down into small little pieces that will start first and checking with fidelity and working into then more things as we get better at this.
One thing to add about that, it's not just throwing darts at a wall. Okay, the leadership team of the state is giving us direction on what has what they call the greatest effect size. They're using research by this John Hattie, who looked at 800 different analysis of interventions that schools do and what has the greatest effect on actual effect on student learning. And so the one that we chose of having learning targets there for students, reviewing them, using them in learning, and reviewing them after the learning is within that range that they call is the target range of effect size by the research. So it's, again, they're giving us that guidance as well as opposed to like, yeah, we think, we should try this. It's not like that. It's really a meaningful process of saying this has been proven, like vocabulary or sentence frame or student interaction has been proven by research to have the greatest effect. And it again is something that's fun. When we talk about that RTI, the 3 tiers, that's tier 1. And that's all students again. You talk about the impact, how many students are going to be impacted by these things? When we're talking about core instruction, we're talking all students. So 535 at Roosevelt are affected by what we're going to do with our usable interventions. Every student is impacted by that. So that's the most exciting thing, I think, part of this. I only wish, honestly, that Lincoln could have the support that we do, and we need to keep Brad and his staff involved in what we're learning at our leadership, because it's been shown he comes back and he's not given near the direction that we are with the leadership that we go in the state. So,
is there any goal date to be off the focus list for each school?
We're working with them for 3 years. So,
but what happens after 3 years if we're not off the focus list? Do we have, as a board, as a school district, have a date that we want to be off the focus list? No, but we're on it. That's a matter of fact. But my point is, we're already talking 3 years. We're saying the goal would be tomorrow. are we doing anything to be off of this focus list before 3 years?
So this whole year, you know, as I'm watching the plan being developed and et cetera, and part of the meetings and, you know, this whole year has been more about trying to identify the areas of needs and then building the plan. So, you know, I'm not seeing that, I would make the assumption that we're not gonna make huge gains because we really haven't implemented anything. We've pretty much spent this year designing the plans, from my perspective. I think you would agree.
I think that's been a question that staff has struggled with, our focus members this year, because it's been a slow process, but it has been a very eye-opening process and a very strong learning process for all of us. I think the Jefferson team right now is looking at this going, wow. You know, as hard as it's been, this is gonna help guide us to exactly where we need to go so that we can get off the list and not be a focus school. And, you know, quite honestly, it's motivated my staff to wanna meet. We've met 3 times recently, where before they were just wanting to meet once a month. But they see the impact and the power that it has behind all the data that we're looking at. And our goal, quite honestly, is by next year to be starting to see some of these huge gains as we implement. They want to implement it now, so we're gonna start doing little pieces of this now. So in the fall, we're ready to go and really start to make some huge improvements.
The expectation from the state is that the usable intervention that I spoke to is supposed to be done this year and has 6 weeks, so we can check for 6 weeks to see the improvement that's done. The frustrating thing is we have seen, you know, but, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna debate the rights or wrongs of the system, but, you know, it's a moving target and there has been improvements, but it's not, we're not satisfied. We have a constant ache for improvement. And I think that, I'm sure you don't shy away from the accountability that you have as a board too, in regard to assisting us in moving towards that. Because every decision you make, I listen to the rest of the agenda tonight, and all these decisions that you're making directly impact, you know, the success that we hope to get. When we're talking about schedules, when we're talking about the challenges with what we do with staff development, and how do we do early outs or late starts, or how do we, professional development is key to this. Professional learning community, we are committed to, you know, Roosevelt sending 8 people to the summer institute, the 3-day institute for PLC. I bet we're having about over 20 district-wide, right?
We have almost from every building administrator also attending with their teams. So it's
Because if there's something that is in education in my 25 years, that has had the kind of the deepest staying power as an initiative across the country, it's this PLC and the PLC movement of professional learning community, really working in teams and no longer in isolation, and working with that common goal, knowing that we can't just do it on our own, that we all need to work together on it. And we're committed to that as a district, I think, the PLC movement, and we're gonna need your continued support for that movement, because that means ongoing professional development. That is gonna mean money to staff development wise. That is gonna be time, which is the challenge I know you talked about a little bit today, you know, direct student contact time and finding that balance. But we're committed to moving, and people have been successful in this. There's so Faribault schools needs to be successful because there's districts similar to us with similar demographics, with similar challenges and opportunities that we have that have gotten off the list.
Well, I mean, I don't think we have any choice but to get off the list, and I apologize if I'm sounding harsh, but us as a board, I just don't settle for average. It's not okay. And if we want to see our community and our school district move forward, our board and our leadership needs to set goals and hold people accountable to goals, and goals that are realistically achievable, and then put the tools in place so that we can get off this list sooner than later. 3 years is 3 years. Who knows where we're at in 3 years? I mean, 3 years is an eternity.
I couldn't agree more with Chad. I think one of the things that we've talked, we have to understand the reasons why we're on focus, and the reasons why we're on focus are the test scores, the MCAs. So we do need the broad support of leadership, that we need to make sure that we are teaching in that area so that those kids are doing better on those tests.
So let me ask, what happens with the movement of people opting out of testing. I know that there are some kids in the Faribault district that are opting out this year, and I foresee that becoming a bigger issue maybe for our district as other districts are seeing more and more kids opt out. How will that affect us? If we have kids who are opting out of testing,
That actually hurts us,
right,
because their scores then count against, the score of 0 will count against our overall score. So that actually hurts the Faribault.
so then what stance do we as a district decide to take on opting out of testing and taking that to a state level? And
We'd
I
have
mean,
to,
what do we?
we'd give up our federal funding, and that'd be about $3.1 million. Or
So,
more.
The reality is that we can take these assessments and we can look at our curriculum as a whole. We can look at, where we're starting and where we need to move. It just really is the idea of continuous improvement. Because as you know, if you're just maintaining, you're not improving, you're actually going back. So if we use these results to look at our curriculum and our overall programming, we can make some moves. We should be seeing gains, and we should make gains.
And I would just reiterate what Principal stated, that we can make demands on staff, but if they don't have the resources, I mean, it's really the community that's responsible for these goals. The community has to support adding staff, adding time for them to get the training.
But I think it starts with goals in place.
Right.
Setting goals, and then
I
how do
think
we get there?
We have some
Well,
very
I
good
would-
goals that.
I agree with that, but it also starts with leadership support. If the leadership, and Clean's told me this 100 times, and I'm with her 100% of the way, if our leadership is not supporting these goals, and that test thing was a big thing for me to get over too, we need to support the improvement of our kids on the MCAs, period. And you're right, and I agree with leadership too. Leadership has a huge play on that, but we're the leaders.
No, and I'll absolutely.
Yep,
This-
but I mean,
this
I
group here
just-
is leadership, there's
Yep,
no doubt.
and we need to have that support too, and until we get that support of all of us leaders marching to that same drum, it's gonna be a tough battle. I said last fall that in order for us to get over that hump, so that we can start doing some of these great programs, we have to perform on our tests. Right or wrong, that's what we need to do, and we need to support it.
But everything affects everything. I mean, she and I will get on the phone and start talking about an issue, and next thing you know, we've talked for 45 minutes because we talked about everything. From the master schedule to the staff development thing, to the scheduling kit, to the interventionist, to everything. So that when you make a decision that you might think as a board is kind of over here in its own box, it's really not. The ripple effect to the entire, to all the things is going to be a huge thing. Like, you were going to say something?
Please.
Yeah, where's Lincoln in all this process? I mean, where are they sitting?
So Lincoln is identified as a continuous improvement school, which means currently they're not on the focus list, but they're borderlining it at the moment. And so they don't have to create the plans. They have to create their own plans, but they don't get the support from the center.
So they're one step above, sort of, you wanna call it that?
Currently,
So they could flip over to a focus very easily.
yes. But the list comes out I believe, well, unless it changes, the list comes out every 2 years.
Now, does this apply to the high school and middle school or not?
It does not. It does not apply to the middle and high school because we do not receive title funds for those two buildings. So they do not have a list for them. They don't have, they can't be placed on a focus list or a continuous improvement list.
So we don't know where they are in relation to comparisons, to focus or continuous improvement? Or?
Right, well, right, they're not on the, not part of the process at all because they,
They still have a report card.
Right.
State report card.
Right.
They still take their test, they still have, a report card, but they're just not held at the same accountability because they don't have.
they don't have to create the,
funds.
right, they won't have to create this plan, and they also don't get the support from the state from that arena. However, we did send our language arts team to some of the trainings at the middle school because they wanted to do the ELA standards and connecting them with, and align them with the state standards. So they've already attended 3 meetings just to work on that. But they will not be identified under this process.
Now, Andrea said something that parents are opting out for their kids. Relation to Common Core, there's big movements and it's growing every day that parents will sign a statement, my kids are not gonna take the tests. And
We have not received many of those. I know that we have received a couple, but we have currently not received many of those opt-out yet.
What percentage do you have to come in before statistically it's destroys everything? I've heard 5 to 10% of students opt out, then it's no good or what? Well, what's the figure? I don't know, I heard.
I currently don't know the number
Okay.
of what, how much that, you know. So we have a target that raises every year. So if our target was X this year, then the next year it's even higher that we need to reach. And then the gap, of course, we have to close that gap, and so that target also changes on a yearly basis. So, you know, it goes up every year as to what we need to hit, so.
It's like No Child Left Behind, because I think this year we had to be 100% from the old law, right?
Next year,
It-
2016.
Right.
It would have been 2016 and we would have all been.
The old, when it started in
Right.
2001 or 2,
Yeah.
what was the original, was it 2014? I thought it was 14.
I think it was 2014.
It was 14, we had to be 100% proficient, and of course, I know our district, you know, there's no way we could do that.
That's how Minnesota ended up with the waiver, and this is
Yeah.
the new process that they're using.
When's the next, 2016 or what? What's the next goal or date? Or
For
not?
what? There is no date.
There is no,
there
oh,
isn't a
there's
date,
no,
no.
okay. There's no
Just to
date.
be clear, there was no district in the United States that met 100% by 2014.
The state of Minnesota
Yeah.
has an expectation in 3 years to cut the achievement gap in half in 3 years.
Right.
And so we're held accountable. The state has one that has to go to the feds, and we have one that goes to the state, and so, Commissioner Casilius reported back to us at the principal's conference that their goal in 3 years is to cut the achievement gap by 50%. And so
And that's how they are on the list, in the fact that, you know, we're not cutting the achievement gap at the rate that they want us to cut the achievement gap.
And the state of Minnesota is amongst one of the worst in the country.
Mhm.
We have the highest achievement, but because we have high achievement, we're like, I don't know what the rate is, but we're one of the lower in the state of Minnesota, where that gap is.
So I know what I'm looking for, I'll speak for myself, is increased student achievement. But it seems like we're not getting there. I've been on the board since 2005. It just seems like we always got plans and plans and more plans to increase.
For the
When are
first,
we gonna reach our goal?
for the first time, we did make some progress towards improving our test scores. However, in doing that, we also widened our gap. So, you know, we have work to do.
But I think, Richard, to your point, in Todd's point of leadership, that's on all of us as a board, and to communicate with Superintendent Sesker and the rest of the leadership team, to come up with goals that are achievable yet stretch goals at the same token that we're happy with, that we sign off and bless on. And if we don't do that as a school board, shame on every one of us sitting here. Because ultimately, this is the leadership that was elected by the people, and if we don't have goals in place, shame on us. And so I'm a big believer in goals, and you get people working towards goals, and everybody's rowing the boat in the same direction, and it's amazing what you can achieve. But if we don't put those goals out there, then there really aren't any goals, you know, and so that's
Well, for
back to
many
my
years,
question.
I mean, with No Child Left Behind, we had a goal, 2014, 100%. Maybe it wasn't achievable, but we weren't even close.
Then it's not a goal, then that's not, it wasn't an attainable goal, nobody got there.
No, I
So
mean,
what we're talking about is attainable goals.
yeah.
Mr. Robichaud.
It's a very interesting discussion, but coming along with us as leaders, as board members, we also have an ethical obligation to provide the staff the resources they need to meet those goals. And if we're not willing to do that, then shame on us as well, Chad. So it isn't just a matter of setting those goals, it's a matter of saying, what do you need, given the demographics of our district, where I would suspect there's probably very few classrooms in our school system where there isn't at least 3 or 4 languages spoken, native languages. And if we're not stepping forward and saying, what are those resources you need, folks, in those classrooms to be able to address, to achieve that goal, then we're falling short on what our responsibility is as well.
Am I wrong to, what you're saying is you want to be off of, you do no longer want to be a focus school in 3 years? Is that the goal you're presenting tonight?
Let's hope they're not a focus.
Right, so that's the goal we're presented with tonight, which I think is a realistic goal considering where we're starting from and where we've come from with reduced staff and class sizes in the last years.
And I
That
just,
would be my opinion.
yeah, when I do goal setting for the training I've had, is that we wanna get rid of the hope piece of it, and we wanna do the we will.
We will
And then
be
that,
off of the focus.
yep, that's the part. And again, I know that we're talking test scores and looking at Tom, because that's a tough one. But we have to get to that hump where we all believe that that's a route that we have to go. And I'm just being very sincere with that. That's a tough one to swallow.
Yeah, so I think there's competing things here. You have two competing movements going on. You simultaneously have people who are arguing that these tests are a complete waste of time, to be frank about it. These tests are a complete waste of time and measure nothing, and that, I think, that resonates with at least one person on this board. Right. And I'm not sure and I think it has some resonance with others on this board too. And the movement's just beyond this. So this makes it really tough to come to a consensus about what kind of goals should we be setting. I think that's a reality that I've struggled with being a member of this board now for a number of years. Is one problem with coming to consensus is I have very variety of views on this board about what we should be setting as a goal. Because it demands that you either accept these tests as something that's valid to measure you or not. And when there's disagreement on that, that makes it really tough to say, this is our goal. The other thing is, I guess the other point I wanted to make is this district has actually shown quite a bit of improvement in my time on the board in its test scores. Particularly if you look at math. There's been many more years of growth than there were falling back. Reading has been a bigger struggle for this district. Is that not a fair assessment? It's a very broad brush assessment.
It's pretty accurate, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You look like you want to correct me, Colleen, please do. If I'm wrong, you should correct me.
You know, basically, for the last 5 years, we flatlined in reading. And then last year was the first year that we have made a slight improvement. But for us, that's big because we've spent the last 5 years basically around the same score. And we've made some drastic changes in reading. You brought on a brand-new curriculum that when you bring on a brand-new curriculum, you should drop. You should not see any improvement. You usually fall because you're bringing on this new curriculum and people are trying to learn it and et cetera. And you made some slight gains, or the staff made some slight gains. So I need to give them credit for that. That means we're, you know, to me, that's the first step of headed in the right direction. Now, granted, does a pattern is not made by 1 year alone. So I was excited to see what this next year will bring in those results. I am a little bit nervous because our focus changed on to creating the focus plan, and you know that makes me just a little bit nervous. But you know, it's something that we needed to do to make larger gains according to the state.
What will the newcomers program do? I mean, what influence? Would that be?
You know, the thing about the newcomers program is that if you're a newcomers, their test scores do not count if they're new to country. And so the new to country already do not count. However, 1 year. However, we have another concern that I've expressed to Todd recently, is that the state has changed some rules in the area of special education. And next year, Todd, is it next year? All the kids that are enrolled or in our district, such as the kids that come over from Northfield, we now are going to take ownership of their test scores, according to this new law. And that bothers me because in the test arena, in the academic arena, that it could hurt us and not help us.
Colleen, just to clarify for me, is it fair to say over the last half a dozen years that the trend has generally been upwards in our math scores?
In our math scores, yes.
Yeah, since I've been here, it's gone up every year in our math scores. In
That's
fact,
been my
our
memory
math scores
for a
been good.
while, and so I've seen, now, it's also gone up statewide, so I'm not sure as well compared to the state that we've made a whole lot of progress towards the average, but we certainly have seen progress there, so I think,
We are stronger in our math scores, but I think the idea, first of all, in our elementary, the idea that we've had that curriculum for 14 or 15 years and have figured out where the holes are and where the pattern, where our struggles are, definitely. And the other situation, and because you have to give credit, our high school math department does an awesome job with our students and does quite well at, overall in the state itself. And so our scores as a district are strong, partly because of our high school.
Are we
and partly
teaching to
because
the
of our
test?
Currently, we are not. And I throw that out because one of the things that we are doing and have been working on is aligning our reading program closer to the standards. So that is one thing that we spent this summer in the elementaries, really realigning to the Common Core and doing a little bit of a better job of that. It's some simple things such as, the vocabulary that's on the test. The kids should know different vocabulary words that mean the same thing. And so when they are assessed, they don't just look at the word and give up because they don't know what it means, even though they already know a different term for that. So we're looking at those types of things, some just quick gains.
What about the NWEAs?
The NWA,
You still give them?
I personally would use the NWA. If I could choose in the world, and Todd knows this, I'd get rid of the MCAs and I'd use the NWA because the NWA shows growth. It shows where those students walked in the door, and it shows that the kids grow. I can tell you by just doing data day in the elementary recently, I can prove to you that we grow students here. What I can't prove to you is that the MCA over here says every child needs to be at a 4th grade level or at a 3rd grade level or et cetera. But I can show you from the NWA that in Faribault, our kids do grow. And I can bring you that data if you'd like.
Can we get a waiver to get out of the MCAs? Or not?
Not unless we decide to give up our funding and our title and et cetera, and it's financially would not be.
Why can't we, not give up, but try it and see what, because the time to take the test and I'm
You
just
would
waiting for
lose
Tom to
all
let
your
loose
title
here on testing.
funding.
Just to interject here a little bit too, I just want to make sure we really emphasize the test. I've got to go on the Tom side too. We are graduating some really, really phenomenal students. I mean, you've got one right across from you that she's done pretty well as she's gone through our K-12 program. I just had, I'm not going to use the person's name, but I had a parent visit me and he was so excited about his son being accepted at Notre Dame and now waiting for the scholarships to come up. So, I mean, we've got a really, really good group of kids that have done exceptional in Faribault. So I want to improve our test scores, don't get me wrong. That's a high priority for me, but I also want to make sure that we also understand that we're giving these kids a very, very good education.
When you get dirty and when you're day by day looking at test scores and looking at working with kids, they all have names to them, kids. Even a lot of the stuff from AYP that we argued against that previous administration, things that I learned through that, I wouldn't go back anyway. There's a lot of pieces of it that once you know, and that it's a child attached to that score, and you need to make changes to improve them, you can't go back even if the state was to throw out some of it. I mean, you still have to, I think all of us have to put in some time and say, there's somebody a lot smarter than me that's determining what is considered appropriate, and we need to embrace that.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Roosevelt Elementary Focus Plan of Improvement.
We have a motion to approve the Roosevelt Elementary Focus Plan. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion on that plan before we vote on that?
One part I wanted to just remind you of, there is just so you make the connection that in the title, there's 20% set aside for Roosevelt, 20% set aside for Jefferson to help with the training component in the meetings that they're having. So I just want to make sure you make that connection for the title purposes in the future.
Any further discussion on this item? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That brings us to item I. Consider approval of Jefferson Elementary Focus Plan of Improvement.
So moved.
Second. Go ahead.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all very much. This brings us to item 10J. Consider approval of Faribault Public Schools District Office Edition Project Proposal for MDE Review and Comment. So please explain to us exactly what this document is.
Yeah, this is a document that's required from the Minnesota Department of Education to send them before we can actually begin our building project. And it basically summarizes the reasons why the project was approved by the board. And it has the finances in there. It talks about the requirements of the architects and what they need to, their assurances of HVAC system compliance and square footage compliance. So it's the final step that the board needs to approve for us to begin to seek bids for the two proposals. That's all it is.
I just
Oh,
want to
Andy,
add, I was
go
looking
ahead.
at this afternoon. If you look at the DO review and comment, on page 19, that's the proposed floor plan for the ABE edition, not the district office edition. So I emailed Kevin and we'll get that fixed before that's sent up to MDE.
Okay,
But I
that's
wanted
good.
to make you aware of that.
Yep, she's right.
This passed the city, right?
Yes,
All the city, all that
yes,
conditional use permits and
yep. Yeah, this is the
nothing
final
surprising
piece.
there or not?
Nope, no surprise.
Todd, what happened with the islands in the back by the ABE? I know Kevin wasn't crazy about some of the islands they
The
wanted.
islands, I believe, well, he's not here, so I'm
Yeah.
not gonna speak for him,
Does
but
anybody know?
the last time he told me they were gonna be removed.
They were.
So, that's the last conversation I
Okay.
had. Now, I can't say that definitely for sure, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna be gone.
Thank you.
Just a clarification on the item. We're not approving, we've already approved the additions. What we're approving is submitting this for review and comment to MDE.
Correct. This is our recommendation to Brenda Casilius to sign off on the project.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Any other questions on these items? I don't believe I have a motion or a second. Is that true?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to consider approval of Faribault Public Schools District Office Edition project proposal for MDE review and comment. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That brings us to item 10K, consider approval of Faribault Public Schools ABE Edition project proposal for MDE review and comment. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
We have a motion and a second.
Hey, Richard.
Richard.
Any discussion on this item? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you all. That brings us to approval for the integration budget for 2016.
Good evening. I think I know most of you. I'm Heidi Onis. I'm our district's integration coordinator and AVID district director currently this year. MDE needs your seal of approval for our budget for this coming year. A couple things with this coming year's budget. We were approved last year for a 3-year, our plan for 3 years. So we're gonna be in year 2 next year. Looking at Andy with the numbers, we look like we're gonna qualify for more money this year based on our enrollment numbers, so it's a formula-based funding. And so this year, we have about 508,000. Next year, we're looking at applying for about 580,000. One of the changes that we're seeing is that Lincoln Elementary had brought forth their staff that they wanted to explore AVID, the AVID program at elementary, more in depth. And so we have been able to build that into next year's budget, along with potential opportunities for Roosevelt and Jefferson. Lincoln had gone to visit an AVID elementary school this year. The staff kind of took it upon themselves and they did that. I didn't even know they were doing that, but that was great, came from them. And Roosevelt and Jefferson will have an opportunity, Avid is looking at hosting some open houses at elementaries here in Minnesota this spring. So they'll have an opportunity to go see if it is something that they would want to move forward with as well. And we have built into the budget opportunities for training for all 3 elementary schools within the next cycle for that.
Heidi, if this really goes well and within the elementary schools in 17, if you add Roosevelt and Jefferson to the mix, is there and you said this is funded based on enrollment. Is there a max enrollment that our district could have?
I don't think so, because I mean, there's schools, some of the integration schools out there, you know, you look at a Minneapolis system and they get millions of dollars in integration. And right now it's based on our enrollment, and we've seen an increase in enrollment for ourselves. Now we work with Waterville, they're our partner district, and their enrollment has stayed fairly flat compared to ours now looking at the budgets, and so they might be able to put in for a little bit more money this year, but not as significant as we have because of our enrollment. I know Owatonna, they have, for instance, they started Avid this year, part of their integration, and their enrollment is seeing, you know, it's just kind of a flat enrollment right now.
Sure, probably the ceiling will be the allotted amount of money appropriated by the legislature. If the state of Minnesota has $5 million in requests and there's only $3 million in money, then it'll certainly be prorated. But
They may come back and say to us, you know, here's what we want to give you, what can you do with it, and then we will look and see where we can trim some things. But when we've worked on the budget with Colleen and Andy, you know, we're asking for the max of what we're allowed.
As we should.
Yep, exactly.
Well, if the younger schools are coming to you, that's kudos and hats off to you and your team for doing
Yeah,
something
it is a
great.
definite
So,
team effort for integration.
But absolutely hats off to you folks leading it and who are involved, and everybody says glowing things about this program and what you guys did at the MSBA, and so anyways, great job.
I want to point out too that I do believe our max allocation this year was like 540,000. So we didn't actually budget the entire amount. We looked at all of our programs and it really wasn't necessary to add that. So it's not an $80,000 swing this year. I think it's at 40,000.
Just one question. We're in partnership with Waterville Legion, Morristown. What are we doing with them? I apologize, I haven't looked at the grant in that much of a detail, but what are we doing with them?
In the past, one of the big items has been with Jefferson Elementary, actually, with the Kindness Retreat, and this spring they'll be going to Quarry Hill. So that's one of the partnerships where Waterville students come over. And Waterville's kind of been in a transition the last couple of years, and they're starting to get on solid ground with some of the programming that they're doing now. And I have spent quite a bit of time over there this year with them, collaborating and setting up some more of those partnerships for our middle and high school students as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Heidi? All right, we need to approve the integration budget for 2016. Is there a motion to do so?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
We have a motion and a second to consider approval, for approval of the integration budget for 2016. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And that brings us to item 10M, consider approval of Kids World proposed rate increase for summer 2015 and school year 2015-2016.
Okay, I believe that you might only have one page posted on your handout. Do you have all three? You know, I'm just gonna send these hard copies around just in case you don't have the entire thing. Should I give it to you?
When was that posted? Because I don't have anything.
We
Maybe
posted
just
it
today.
Yeah, that was an agenda.
Yeah.
Is this what you emailed out?
Yes, to the finance committee, it is.
Oh, just the finance.
Yep, it was, last two
Last
Sundays
week.
ago? Yeah. And on the, yeah, Excel on your iPad too doesn't always. Okay.
All right, I think we've got it.
Sure. Okay, so Amanda Cappies, who is the Kids World Coordinator for the district, is, she and I have met several times and really looked at the budget. And in terms of revenue over expenses, we do need to raise fees this year. If you are looking at the proposed Kids World rate, this first page on your handout, you can see summer we have listed first, and you can see the 2014 rates and how we have them appropriated in terms of how parents pay, weekly, daily, et cetera. And then we have proposed rates. That's summer, and then fall and spring, we also have our current rates listed and then our proposed rates going forward. And just to point out, for example, in the fall, we would be, before school, we're at 465, and we'd be going to 475. So it's about a 10-cent increase there. Some of them remain the same. There's some different scheduling options for the summer, and I don't know if Amanda, if you can address that.
One big thing with the weekly rates during the summer is we were at 120 last summer. Our child care assistance program families, what we get reimbursed or what we can charge up to is 125. And that's what the state deems affordable child care. So we need to at least get to that rate where they deem it affordable child care. So that's why we're proposing the 125 a week. And as far as set schedule, flexible schedule, set schedule is we have families that need Monday through Friday. We have families that need 2 days a week, but they can give us the whole schedule for the summer, which helps staffing wise. So I can say, I have X amount of kids each day. The flex schedule, we charge a little bit more, but then that gives that families the option to, give us at least a week notice to change their schedule. And then that, I'll have to adjust staffing according with that.
And this is a fee-based program only. We do have a part of a permissive levy that we're able to utilize only for kids who fall within kind of a higher need category. So it's minimal what we levy, but otherwise it's entirely fee-based, how we pay for this program.
Can people afford the increase?
Would you like me to answer that? Okay.
Because when you increase something,
Yep.
then it drops off.
Yep.
Then you increase it again because
Yep.
then you drop it off, then all of a sudden
Yes.
it falls apart.
And we did have a small increase from 2013, 2014 to 2014, 2015, and we didn't see that drop off. So I think we're okay. And if you go to the next couple of pages, you can see kind of, even though surrounding areas do daycare differently, it's not apples to oranges. We're very, very competitive in terms of measuring up to our surrounding area schools.
So the action you're asking for is the proposed flex schedule increases.
Yeah,
column
and the
on
set
right-hand
schedule.
side.
Yep, exactly.
So 125 to 130,
Yep.
30 stays at 17 to 20 and no rate.
Wait, I think that's not quite right. It's 120 to 125, is that right? The
Yes.
flex schedule is something else.
Exactly, thank you.
So there's two different rates that are being proposed.
summer, yeah.
Right, so 120 is what it is right now. It's going to 125 unless somebody needs this flex schedule, in which
Yep.
case it's 130.
You got it.
So what
I
happens
just
to the
always
drop-in?
agree.
What happens to the drop? Does that stay the same? Is the drop-in still 137?
The drop-in, did I not include that on here?
No, it's right here.
Okay, yep, the drop-in would stay the same.
So 2015, the drop-in would be 137?
Yep, the drop-in would stay the same. And and that's more for those families that call that morning
And so for the daily too, the 37.
Is it,
I'm just making a third column here. For 2015 drop-in, the third column would be 137, 37, no rate, no rate, no rate,
Yep.
no rate.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
So just
thank
need that
you.
third column.
Yep.
So this looks to me like it's about 2% on all these rates. Does that sound about right?
Yes, and we try to have a 3% or below increase per year.
A little higher on steam, it looks like.
Yes, it is, and just to explain that a little bit, last year was the first year we offered that option, so it was kind of, okay, we'll come up with this price, and we found out that it costs a little bit more than we initially charged, so we really do try to be very fair with our families in terms of the rates.
Sorry to be a slow learner, I still don't know what we're approving.
Just the rate increases.
And what is that, what column are we talking about?
So for, under summer, it would be
Okay.
the first column and the third column. You're comparing those schedules, and then we have a flex schedule, which is a new option.
So you're approving, though, that you're asking for approval of the two proposed schedules?
Yes.
The two, essentially the third and fourth column?
Yes,
Correct.
exactly, under summer. And then for fall, spring, it would be the third, fourth, fifth.
Sorry,
No, I'm
brain
sorry.
has gone dead
I feel
a
bad.
long time ago.
No, I feel bad that it's not presented quite exactly how we were hoping.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion on this item?
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your work, Matt.
Thank
We
you.
don't see you very
They
often.
haven't had
We haven't actually approved anything
Yeah,
yet.
we need to say thank you, yeah.
You can sit down, but so far.
Holy smokes.
Sorry.
It's so late.
So,
I had to shovel
We have
for 2
a-
hours this morning.
I'm-
2 whole hours.
I feel your pain. We have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you all very much. Now,
Thank you for your work.
thank you for your work. All right. Where am I? That was item 10M.
Is it my turn?
I'm so patient.
All day.
This brings us to item 11A, student representative.
All right. I am Emily Remby. I'm a senior at the high school, and I am the student rep on the school board. Okay, to take it way back to block scheduling, when I said, I don't care either way, I definitely do. That's why I'm here 70 days before graduation. I have siblings and friends in the district, so I definitely care. All right. Spring musical, put it on your calendars, is April 16th through the 19th. We're doing Happy Days. We're working really, really hard for it. We got spring break off this year, which is really new. We don't have spring break off most of the time. So I'm really excited to get back. Spring sports are kicking off. A lot of them started the week of spring break. Track had a meet in Duluth. I know people like cabins practices. I don't think golf did anything just because what are we going to do until the things open up? But yes, music department took our kids on the Chicago trip. We left on Thursday right after school not right after because it was about 3:30. And then we came back Sunday night at 6:30. The first day we drove to Milwaukee, and then the second day, we drove to Milwaukee, and we performed the second day at New Berlin High School, and then that second day we drove to Chicago and performed at DePaul University, and we did like a master class with 3 of their professors there, and that was really, really cool, super eye-opening. The professors were really awesome. I mean, as you expect, they were really fun to work with. And then the third day, we went to the Chicago Museum of Science and Industry. That was really, really awesome. So U-boat, I did personally a few different things. They have a storm thing there. We were only there for a few hours, which is not enough time to explore the museum. It was so much fun there. And then we went on a gangster tour of Chicago where we just went around and they kind of explained different parts of the city and how they related to mobs and stuff. It was really cool. And then we went to Navy Pier for a few hours. The next day, we went to Millennium Park, saw the Bean, before we went to the House of Blues, where a group of students from the choir got to perform with them, so that was really, really cool. And then we headed out and came home, so that was super, super fun. Also going on at the high school is March Madness. We're doing a bunch of dress-up days. We're doing March Madness brackets. We've got a night of tournaments coming up. I'm not sure how everything's gonna work with this school day or with this snow day. Like, I don't know how, if it's gonna go over well. I was
Sorry.
gone. No,
It's
no,
all your fault.
but I was gone the last 2 days before the break, so I don't think.
See what you did?
No, no, it's not your fault.
From hero to goat in one conversation.
Because I was leaving, I don't think I did enough job of like publicizing what was happening. So I think when we come back, it's gonna be like, oh guys, tomorrow we have this going on. So I'm gonna have to tweet a bunch tonight. Prom, of course, coming up at the end of April. We're taking payments this first week of April. That's coming up. AP testing is coming up. So for AP classes, we're buckling down now. Reviews, yay. AP, and then graduation. It's about 75 days away. Seniors, scholarships are in the counseling office. We just got that one with the Funds Trust. It's one form that you fill out, and there's about 55 that you can qualify for it. So it's like, oh, one sheet of paper, lots of money writing on one sheet of paper. Like, okay. And then we also got gold cord, so people that earn their gold cord got their letters. Of course, grad parties are coming up, so when Kathy asks you guys for your addresses, don't be alarmed. It's just for me. To send you guys invites. So, and then also we're doing this new thing where the freshmen are coming to the high school. They're having like a little hour presentation in the PAC, and I'm not quite all sure what the counseling office has put together for them, but they've asked me to put together a freshman welcome video. So I'm gonna be working with Dibble, and we're gonna do that. And I'm kind of unsure of like what direction I want to take with it, but I'm thinking, yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of ideas for it, and it's iPads, and I don't have an iPad, so it's gonna be really cool to see how that works. Any questions?
Superintendent Sesker, when we need another student representative, I want you to get videotapes.
Who would you recommend?
Emily Remy.
She already has been, she has recommended a couple of you.
They need to watch tape of Emily Remy. and they need to match that. Like, this is now a standard that we expect. The board expects this now. And any less will be a disappointment.
Where are they going to school next year?
Hamlin University.
Hamlin University.
I'm really excited. They're giving me a lot, like from all the things that I've been doing, they're really helping out with financial aid, so that's really, really cool.
Can I help you rephrase it? You've earned.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
You're not giving.
Well said, Chad.
So, I'm really excited. Yeah. It's only 75 days away, guys. It'll be weird. It'll be weird.
So will you still attend our June meeting?
I was actually thinking about that. I was like, am I allowed to come? Or like, well, you guys will be there. You guys will be at graduation. You wear your fancy robes.
I think less of you if in June you have nothing better to do than come to our meeting. You're welcome to come.
I can sit out there.
All right. Are there any other questions for?
Actually, just one comment. You serve until a replacement is sitting.
Oh.
That's right, yeah. Okay.
You can commute from Hamlin. That's not too far.
No, it's not.
We can do it.
Teleconference.
There you go. Are there any other questions for him? Okay. We'll move on to items of information from school board members.
I went to the Correct Science Fair. It was a great experience. I think it was in the newspaper, which was great. But they did a great job. Staff and students.
Robotics team goes to our first competition in a week and a half. So wish us luck.
All right.
Good luck.
Much luck.
Yay.
We've got a nice robot. I'm excited for it. I think the kids should be really
Does it
proud
have
of
a
what they made. It does. Guinevere. It's a pretty name.
It's like a dragon.
Is there a meaning behind it?
Well, no, except for our assistant coach. What? Our assistant coach has been building robots for me for 3 years, and so he's named every one, and they start from A. It started with Abel, and so on and so forth, and so G was the next one, And he also has gone boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl. So it was time for a G name, a girl's G name, and so Guinevere is where it was. So that's what, it's in honor of our student.
So will you be filming it, or do we
Oh,
need
yeah.
to just go? Or you'll have a film?
Yeah, there'll be some Twitter.
Okay.
I'll share the
Did you
Twitter.
say where the
Okay.
competition will be held?
But I don't
Competition
think
is up in the cities at one of the Minnesota stadiums.
So what was that thing you went to in Chaska?
That was a scrimmage, so that was
Oh,
sort of
okay.
just a practice thing. Didn't count for anything.
Contact? No
It was a no contact competition.
Full fast?
Yeah. So yeah, it's a little nerve wracking but exciting. So we're excited to.
Well, good luck.
do that.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Jason.
Thank you all. I'm excited to be with the team. Proud of them. Any other items of information from the school board?
I'd like to repeat my request with our work session coming up. And my request is of the other school board members and any administrators who might be there. I would be interested in hearing what your priorities are for the next few years. My granddaughter, who just turned 2, has as her favorite song, as the most favorite song across the country, probably is Let It Go and From Frozen. And so I've been listening to it often, watching the movie often, enjoying every minute of it.
And isn't it wonderful?
Well, as an English teacher, Let It Go can have 2 meanings. In the terms of release and forget about it, and get it out. Earlier tonight, we had some significant discussion about testing. And I kept my mouth shut, which was an amazing accomplishment. But I happen to believe that for the sin of my silence, there can be no redemption. So I'm speaking up just shortly now. I've been reading a book on the history of education in America. And one of the national leaders of education in the 1800s was a guy by the name of Horace Mann. And Horace Mann did a lot of things, and I'm not going to review all that sort of thing, but one of the interesting things I found was that he was a great believer in the scientific revolution of the time, phrenology. The ability to determine characteristics, intelligence, and other achievements by the bumps on a person's head. Now, that science has fallen into some disrepute. I suspect that the science regarding standardized tests may fall into disrepute at some point in the future, the near future, I hope. But we use the word student achievement. And that can mean a lot of things. If it's a score on a standardized test, that's one meaning. If it's preparing a student for a high quality of life, that's another. And I'm not sure the two overlap very much. The standardized tests that I've been hearing about for the last number of years, for example, the ACT and the SAT, have been used I took them way back when. Fred Flintstone and I were in the same class. And the SAT score was supposed to predict success in college, but what it turns out to predict is the economic class of the students and the economic well-being of their parents and that sort of thing. So if anybody has some evidence that standardized tests truly do indicate the quality of learning, that they are not just some measure of achievement in the same realm that phrenology was in the 19th century, please let me know.
Tom, I want to recommend a book that I know you love to read.
I do.
It's a book called Call to Action, Stop Teaching the Test, Start Teaching. And it's written by a person by the name of Scott Werdiger, Werdinger.
Okay.
He's a professor at Minnesota State Mankato.
I will have it ordered before midnight. I'd like to recommend a book, Fear and Testing in America, written by a former teacher and superintendent from Texas, and I'm not gonna be able to spell his name off the top of my head, but Fear and Testing in America. He is a superintendent who has taken perhaps a dangerous path politically in terms of opposing standardized testing, but I think a brave path in terms of ensuring quality programming for his students.
By the way, standardized tests teach quantity, not quality.
I understand that. That's why I gave essay tests. And as a teacher.
I knew that agenda item was not really done.
Well, my blood pressure doctor thanks you for allowing me to speak.
All right. Any other items of information from school board members? If not, Mr. Superintendent.
I can't follow that story, but I'll go through some of the things that I've been up to. Been up to the Capitol a couple times doing some lobbying for us on behalf of the schools. The Senate and the House have listened to over 4,000 bills, and they're trying to dwindle it down. They're finished with policy pretty much. They're going to clean up a few of those bills. I think there's about 252 now. The other ones will not get heard on the floor. So we're moving from policy to finance, and eventually they'll come up with a deal for both of those. I was at the MASA Spring Conference, and again, Anne-Marie and Margaret did a great job presenting. I listened to a keynote speaker. McKnight was his last name. I don't remember his first name, but he talked about how the community can enrich the school district and how we can do a better job of reaching out to the schools. And he made an analogy of an inner city school in Chicago who was faltering, and the administration, the staff all reached out and went door to door and asked each owner of each house and each business what they could contribute to their school system, and put them on a list and asked them, would you want to help? Do you want to help? How much do you want to help? And then they followed up with that, and they saw a huge support of that community. They also saw test growth. Sorry, Tom, I had to throw that in there. But as a result of not teaching to the test, they're teaching to, or supporting their staff with the resources now and doing a great job. But it was actually a very good talk that we had. We're also meeting, I want the board to be aware of, I talked to Jason a little bit about this, but we are looking at some options for our CREC program. Possibly, I actually talked to Richard about this too, about splitting that program up. Austin, Albert Lee, Northfield, Owatonna, and us are all looking at potentially another site for a portion of CREC, and that would be in Owatonna, particularly for our SUN program. The schools, particularly Austin and Albert Lee, don't have programs for that. Many schools are looking for this right now. And so we're looking at that. We would actually love to start that in the fall. It could be some busing for us, for the kids that are currently going to CREC from both Northfield and from Faribault to go to Owatonna. It's a collaborative effort with all 5 schools, and if we can find a place, I think we have a better solution than what we are currently giving these kids in those buildings. So we continue to look at that, and I'll keep you up to speed on what's going on with that. Cheryl Hall has been instrumental in helping with this move, and it's been very positive so far. Great PDS meeting down in Mankato. Again, those 8 schools, we're looking at expanding Tri-Center. Our Tri-City United wants to join us. We have 8 schools right now, it'd be 9. And actually Centennial wants to join us too, if you can imagine that. The superintendent from Waseca is now the superintendent at Centennial, and saw the value of having those schools collaborate and would like to be a part of that. So we're expanding our PDS, our professional development schools, partnership with that. We're actually proposing some legislation to give boards a latitude of the programs that we've had implemented through our relationship with Mankato have been mainly through the Bush grant, and we've received grants for that, and those are due to expire. But we're actually proposing some legislation where we could actually levy for funds to help support some of those initiatives for us. So it would be a constant fund that each school district could help with that relationship. So it's some good legislation that we're looking at. Finally, I do want to send my condolences to the Kenyon Wanamingo School District. There are, I'm sure folks here that have ties to the Kenyon Wanamingo School District, and their superintendent, if you haven't heard, passed away a week or actually 2 weeks ago, and they had his visitation last week. So our deepest condolences to our neighboring school district, Kenyon Wanamingo, and Jeff Everd and his family. So with that is all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you all. Any questions for Superintendent Susker? If not, I will go through some dates to remember. Starting with March 24th at 4 p.m., Community Ed Advisory Council meeting at the district office. April 1st at 3:30 p.m., the wellness meeting at the district office. April 13th at 5:30 p.m., a work session at the district office. April 14th, the policy meeting at 4:30 at the district office. April 20th, 7:30 a.m. Finance meeting at the district office. April 20th, 3:30 p.m. A curriculum advisory committee meeting at the district office. April 27th at 5:30 p.m. A regular board meeting right back here at Faribault City Hall.